Hello, everybody, and welcome. I see a lot of people are in chat already. I just want to give a shout out. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me. Tonight is a very special episode of Paranormal Brew. Again, I'm your host, Taryn. I'm live every Wednesdays, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Trying to push everybody more towards the YouTube side of things. Really getting sick of Facebook. But tonight I have two very special people on. You'd think they were from two completely different sides of the fence, but you might be a little bit surprised. So before I bring them on, I'm just gonna give you the bios that I have here, just in case you're not familiar with my two guests, which I find very hard to believe if you're here watching this that you are not familiar with them. I have Stevi on. She is the host of Truth or Demons. It's a podcast that takes a deeper look into the muddled world of the paranormal and beyond. On her show, she digs up old cases investigated by the Warrens, Ed and Lorraine Warren, and takes a deeper look into the truths and the facts surrounding them. She investigates places, people, and evidence to find the truths and present them to her listeners. She also interviews people who have had direct connections and experiences with the Warrens and their organization to shed some light on what it was like in the field alongside Ed and Lorraine Warren and how things are now as a result. Was it truth or demons? We hopefully will find that out one day. My other guest, the Godfather of the Paranormal, as he is known, Godfather of the Ghost Hunters. He's the GOAT. He is the original Jay-Z, is what I like to call him. John Zaffis. John Zaffis is a well-known paranormal investigator, author, and demonologist, often referred to as the Godfather of the Paranormal. He's been active in the field for decades and is the nephew of the famous investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren, who inspired the Conjuring film series. He starred in the sci-fi paranormal reality TV show Haunted Collector. Oh, missed that so much. I wish they'd bring that back. And runs the Paranormal and Demonology Research Society of New England, which he founded in 1998. He runs the John Zaffis Paranormal Museum, which houses hundreds of allegedly haunted or cursed items collected from his cases. So, now that I got that out of the way, I know you guys don't want to. I'm trying to get here. I know you guys want these guys on, and you don't want to hear me. So I am going to shut up and bring on my wonderful guests. We have Johnny.
Hey.
And we have Stevi.
Hi.
Good evening, guys. First of all, thank you so much for coming on. And I want to give credit where credit is due. This was actually John's idea. John wanted to come on and chat with Stevi on my show, which I feel very honored. Thank you so much. And I really honestly, I want you guys to have the opportunity to talk. Stevi, I know you have a lot of questions for John here. So I'm kind of just going to sit back, maybe moderate the comments and the questions and kind of let you guys have your chat.
Stevi, you got the tea ready?
I am so ready. I am so excited.
let's let's do this. I honestly, I just saw John at New Jersey Power Unity. We had so much fun. I actually,
Whee!
yes, if anybody saw the video, um, and and I was working alongside him all weekend. It was great. You were great, John. Thank you so much. We had so much fun.
Well,
But
thanks for helping us.
during that time, he says, "Hey, you think Stevie would?" And I'm like, "Let me run to my phone." Yes, I do think Stevie would love to come on and have a chat with you for sure. Um, so I'm gonna shut up. I'm just gonna shut up and let you guys do your thing. I'll throw some highs up here from the comments in the chats on YouTube. But if there's any questions, I'll let you guys know and pop them in there.
Okay.
Sounds good.
All right.
All right, so I have so many, so I don't even know where to start. So I want to start with, I think, current events, if you're okay with that.
Absolutely.
I know everyone that has tuned in is dying to know how you feel about the current events of not only the sale of the Warren house, but who is operating things right now. And of course, what went down with Ryan Buell. So, would you like to tell us how you feel about what is going on with that? We are dying to know.
Shitty. It's a hard thing because a lot of times when I take a step back and look at something, I have to look at things from twofold. Okay, that's my family. It's the paranormal, and when you combined everything together, plus a lot of friends and you know uh, mutual acquaintances from my aunt and uncle throughout the years, Stevie, I get whammied like you can't believe from people. I
I
mean, it was like it hit like a ton of bricks when they put the house up for sale. I mean, again, the house they had to do something with the house. I understand that. It was falling in disrepair and everything, and it needed a lot of work. That I understand. Um, I think, in all honesty, in the best way I can look at anything, it ripped something out of me seeing strangers touching their stuff. I'm sorry, it's the only way I can put it to you.
yeah,
And being a direct, honest um, person with looking at that and watching them go through the things and touching things, and I knew how Lorraine was. Nobody's going to blow any smoke up my butt. When it comes to her, she did not like people touching her things. She would ask me to do certain things, go pull certain pictures and do this, and did you touch this? Did you touch that? Did this get moved? And she would get nervous over it because she would have everything certain ways. So when somebody takes that step back and says that she'd be very comfortable with anybody, I don't care who it was, going through her things or touching her things, bullshit. Because again, that's just the type of individual she was. That was Lorraine. It's one I always knew, and understood it. So it was difficult. Now, on the flip end of watching what the young man Elton did with fixing up the property, securing the property, I think that's a fantastic thing. Again, I haven't seen anything that I would say um, I found odd. I mean, I found it weird when he'd walk through the rooms, filming things or looking at certain things or describing certain things, and I'm like, okay, a few things you got off there, uh, the apartment upstairs, yeah, that was Judy Penny's apartment.
exactly.
Okay, that she lived there for up 10 years. It was built for her when they added on the big portion of the house. So therefore, again, I have to look at that a little bit differently probably. But I was exposed to all of that. So I look at it differently than what most people do.
Yeah,
But
and I think a big problem with this whole thing is not that they purchased the home, but the information that they're perpetuating, because they're being fed this stuff from Tony, and then they're repeating it, and it's things I've already, of course, researched and, for lack of a better term, debunked, and then they're just perpetuating this information, and that part is really frustrating for me. I love that they bought the property and plan to restore it. I love that they have taken care to make sure that things are taken care of. I love that, but I'm very frustrated with the direction they're going to take the paranormal part.
So far from what little I have seen, because again, I will say that to you, when I watched, them filming and doing different things, I can only watch so much of it. Then I have to go back in the house because my office is out in the barn, and I go back in, and my wife has to listen to me bitch about it. So I watch as much as I can, where I don't, uh, try to let it get too much to me. I mean, again, um, I totally understand. I watch a lot of the things you've done. Man, you do your research.
Thank you.
And Stevie, when something's wrong, I've watched you correct it. And I appreciate that. And
Absolutely.
that's an important element for anybody that is going to go back in and, go over factual things. When you got the receipts and you're backing it like you are, and somebody's still going forward with not the truth. I do the same thing. I sit here and go, "Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Yeah, it's right there in black and white. It was already been proven out, and you're still, perpetuating that story of not the way it went." And again, I hear you. I give you kudos. You do your work. You backed it up with a lot of things.
Thank you. I'm
So
honored.
That's
uh,
awesome. That's awesome.
yeah, it's a hard thing, and I think one of the most difficult things with the process of it. And again, I'm looking at it from the outside in. The little reflection room should have been dedicated to Ed and Lorraine. And
Yes.
again, I feel bad that Dan Rivera died. I mean, Dan Rivera tried several times to talk to me. I'm a stubborn old goat, and I just didn't want. I just didn't want. There was no reason for it, none,
Understood.
to do that. My aunt and uncle are gone. Ed and Lorraine are gone, and So, anyways, but again, when I saw that and everything, and how upset thousands and thousands of people got over the Saint Michael prayer,
Yeah.
again, it was a very hard thing to grasp and try to rationalize and take a look at. Again, they're trying to do something on a positive level. I get that. It wasn't like they were doing a demonic room and putting up an altar for Satan with Dan in it. They were doing something on a positive. So again, I'm trying to reflect upon that on the same avenue of it. I looked at it and went, well, gee, why did you dedicate that to Ed and Lorraine? It's their house. So, and there's been plenty of other researchers that came and went. So Dan Rivera only came on board in 2012. And again, it's, you know, the way I'm looking at it. Like I said, for me, a lot of times that's why I try not to say too much, because it goes more on a personal level.
Yeah, I
I,
understand.
I, I miss him with all my heart. You know that. I mean, I was with him the day he went down.
Yep.
So is that has I've struggled with that all these years and watching a lot of those different things. But again, Stevie, if it didn't go the way it went, I would have never did the TV show. I would have never had all the books out. I would have never done what I've done if he was still around, because it would have still been like the little kid just following his uncle around, because he was the goat. He was the big boy.
No, I understand.
Yeah,
And I wouldn't have a show if it weren't for them. So.
yeah, that's true.
Um,
So I have another question that kind of tags along with the first one. How do you feel about them bringing Ryan Buell into the situation?
Okay, I'm not very confused by the situation that was presented with it. Um, I think what bothered me more than anything was watching him go through their things. I'm sorry. If it was my mother or father or something, and I seen somebody else going through it. I mean, if my sisters went through my parents' things, I don't care about that. That's brothers, sisters, and you know. But it was a difficult thing to watch and to see people just going through things. Again, it bothered me tremendously. Bothered me, a lot. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it. There's nothing to sugarcoat about it. And again, they were presenting it as they were cleaning the house out for Tony and Judy. Well, I'm sorry, Stevie. They had plenty of time to do that.
No, I
They
agree.
started cleaning the house up before Lorraine passed away. So I don't understand it. But as everybody in the world knows, ever since Lorraine passed away, uh, we don't all talk. Again, and that's fine. I don't have anything to say. I just don't.
Yeah.
Um, as far as Ed and Lorraine go, I'm all right with that. But yes, it bothered me. I'm not going to say it didn't bother me.
Hmm.
And there's a lot of other researchers that have been around 20, 30 years that worked with my aunt and uncle. Where are all these people? How come nobody's out in the forefront? That's what people need to look at. They're all gone. Why? Ed and Lorraine are gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Chapter closed.
yeah, and you also you put up a post which I loved, by the way, recently. Referring to some things that Ryan Beale is saying about how they always traveled with all of their items. This isn't anything new. They've always traveled with their items. They've always brought this stuff out of the house. They've always brought this stuff. And you took what he wrote, put it in a post, but then you said no,
I
no,
said bullshit.
yeah,
That's what I said
you did say that.
because it was. I'm sorry. Again, I if it ever happened and the way I worded it, I said anybody out there because there's a million other researchers I worked with. There's researchers I never worked with. That's not an unusual. During that time framing, they have more freaking people in and out of that house than I don't know what. But anyhow, um, again, I never ever saw Ed take anything out on the road and do different things. Ed went down in 2001. I mean, the guy was just, he was bedridden. He couldn't talk. He lived on a feeding machine and everything. They kept that secret for, several years. Lorraine didn't want it out there publicly. And again, during the course of all that, that's when all the mumble jumbo and everything started going on and things started getting super intense with stuff. So, but, and she did several episodes on Paranormal State with Ryan and the guys and everything. So again, but I'm sorry, it just bothers me watching some of these folks that are around and rifling through the stuff. It just does. Oh, I jumped off of it. See, you get me off. I'm all freaking fired up. Anyhow. Hey, all the guys were saying that this past weekend. Jesus, John, you just say anything about Anna Lorraine in the house and you get all fired up. But
Well,
anyhow,
I mean, I think it's
eh,
important that people know this because that's what they're trying to say is like, oh, they've always traveled with all these items. They've always
no,
brought all these items out. They've always, this isn't anything new. And that's
no.
not true. And
It
people,
happened after he went down. Tony and I guess it was Ryan at that point because that's when she was dealing with them with a couple of the episodes. They had taken them in the Knickerbocker, some of the items, and they had taken them to oh my gosh, another haunt down in Gettysburg, the restaurant.
The
Oh,
I
so,
can't remember.
so
the Day family own it. I'm good friends with all of them, and I can't remember the name of it.
the Daniel Lady Farm,
No, no, no.
um,
Oh
the
my God.
Farnsworth.
Farnsworth House, Farnsworth House.
Okay.
Okay, I'm very, very good friends with Patty and the mom and dad. Anyways, and they had gone down there and done it. Ed wasn't there. Ed was incapacitated in a bed at home. So again, that's when he turned around and said that, and boom, that did it. It went right. I went right through the roof. Again, you never were around them. You never worked with them, and you're making a statement that Ed was a part of. No, I'm telling you, I many times, Lorraine would be up in the kitchen doing stuff, and I go, well, "Where's Warren?" I always called him Warren when we were by ourselves because it's my uncle Warren. And I always would say, "What?" I just say Warren. She goes, "Well, he's out in the back office," and I would go downstairs, and we'd come out. We would talk. Sometimes he'd be out muddling about with things right there, and we would just talk, and he would start going back over things and talk about the things, and he'll go, "Yeah, watch out for this, watch out for that," and be careful with this, be careful with that, you know, and it was just him and I. What was he gaining by just doing that with me? You follow what I'm saying? There was nothing gained because the both of us would go back and forth at each other, and a lot of times I go, "Oh, that's a bunch of bullshit." And here we go, "Shut your goddamn mouth." I mean, that was Ed. That was Ed. I mean, again, we're going back and forth with the bantering with stuff and everything. So, no, he never took any of the stuff out on the road. Sorry, I'm jumping all over the place.
No,
But
you're good. This is great.
No, I mean, I think it's important because there's even some people like there's only one comment I've seen so far that said that they saw some items. Oh, no, I'm sorry. This comment here, there used to be photos from back in the 60s or 70s where they took Annabelle to birthday parties for photo ops. I don't know anything about that. I've never
I
seen.
okay, I don't know. I'll go by what she says because if Stevie's dug it up somewhere, 99% of the time I'll go and I'll look and I'll go, "Son of a gun, I never saw that or heard that."
Okay, so
Yeah.
I
So
have heard this. I've seen it in some comments on some different posts about it. I have not found the evidence yet. I would love it if somebody had it and would give it to me.
yep.
The only thing I do have evidence for, as far as the items go, is I did find in the paper, I shared it with you, John. There was a party that the
Yes, a
Warrens
Halloween party.
hosted, but
Yeah,
they hosted it at their house. They didn't
correct.
move anything, but Annabelle was not in a case. She was sitting on a chair, and people were walking, like they were posing next to her, taking like selfies with her, essentially. But it was in 1974, and they were letting people around the items, but they hadn't been moved. So if anyone has the photo of a birthday party where they brought items to, I would really love to see that.
This is what cracks me up with a lot of the stories. I just, and people will post them. I'll go and read some of the remarks on some of the things, and I'll go, I don't remember that. When did this happen? Or go back and forth because I just don't ever remember seeing that. I remember when the case was built. Ed wasn't here. He was over in England at Enfield with Roger and Al. They were over there for several days, and the case was built while he was over there. So
Right.
again, some of these crazy stories. I mean, it's so wild,
Yeah, and
wild.
the infield thing, I've seen a lot of back and forth about that. A lot of people say that Ed never went, but I did find the proof that he did go.
Yeah,
He just didn't take the reign.
that
Not
is.
for that investigation, yeah.
See, you're good. I love it. I love it. He was there with Roger and Al, were two of the researchers that worked with mainly Ed back in the day, and they had gone over there. They spent a couple of days going back and forth with the Hutchinson family, and documenting different things and saying different things. And I remember him talking about it when he came back. See, I can base stuff before the stories, before the movies, before the books. That's what I pay more attention to, and that's what I go by. It's like this guy getting killed on the freaking motorcycle. There was a kid. He was a big freaking kid. He was a real wise guy. I remember a kid on a motorcycle having an accident, but I don't remember nobody dying. That's the story. And Charbonneau, Father Bill Charbonneau, he was a cocky priest. He was very cocky. He did throw the doll. That did happen.
Yeah.
And on the way home, he got into a car accident. His biggest thing that day was he came down to show them his brand new car. And Ed told him, he goes, don't freaking challenge the damn thing. And he did. Boom. He wasn't crippled. I heard a story recently. Somebody said that he was crippled and in a wheelchair. I'm going, where do you people get this stuff from?
Yep.
No, he had a car accident. The car went off of Route 84, if I remember right. But anyhow.
Uh-oh. Stevie was out on that one.
I don't know what happened.
It's the gremlins.
We're getting haunted.
Right?
Yeah, no, I've seen a lot of variations of the stories too. And I recently saw Elton. He was on doing a live, and someone in his comment feed asked about the motorcycle accident. They said, hey, if the motorcycle really happened, can you provide the evidence, because we can't find it? It was a very appropriate question. It wasn't attacking Elton. It wasn't rude. It wasn't even like negative in any way. He was genuinely curious for the evidence. And Elton was rude back and said, well, if you had, research skills, you'd find it. It's out there. You just have to look hard enough, basically. And he essentially said his audience wasn't smart enough to find it, but still refused to provide it.
And let's just go a little bit further, because I feel like it was very disrespectful. But he's like, it's like a guy trying to find the clitoris.
Yes, he did say that.
I'm like,
I do remember that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that was so inappropriate and so wrong.
Like, first of all, it's not the clitoris that you have to find; it's the G spot. I feel sorry for his wife or girlfriend, whoever, if he's married.
Yeah.
I'm not touching this one. I'm not touching
You don't
this.
have to say anything. I'm
No,
saying
no pun intended. I'm not touching that one.
Yeah, that was so bad.
Again, I try. No, I hear you. I understand it. I'm not in disagreement, but I think it's a fact of, from what I've seen, that kid is like always on the get go. He's got several other people in there doing a lot of the things. He's getting fed that information from several of those sources. And again, you got to be careful and how you got this opportunity to bring the things to the forefront. The golden opportunity is right there. So therefore, if there is any documentation on the boy, the girl, whoever got killed on this freaking motorcycle, I wish somebody would find it.
Exactly.
And if anybody was going to freaking find it, it would have been you, kiddo. I already know that. So
I was told by 6 different libraries that they don't have any record of anything like that.
No, and again, if somebody did get killed, that would definitely, be able to coincide with the time framing or something.
Yeah.
So again, listening to a lot of that and everything, I just shake my head and sit back, because sometimes when you come to the forefront and you bring a tremendous amount to the forefront, with trying to correct it, again, it's an important element. You're trying to be able to move it forward, and that's a positive to me. So again, it's probably the info that the kid is getting fed, that the Elton is getting fed.
Yeah, I agree.
Now, Elton has told several mutual friends of mine, that I get, supposedly he grew up not that far away from Stratford, Connecticut, where I am. And he said he had seen me a couple of times at lectures. He had talked to me at one point in time. But I don't know if that's true or not. That's just what got fed back to me. So I don't know. But again, yes, you got to be careful with some of the stories and some of the things, because like I said, when things are getting proven out and you have the proof and you have the receipts, as you guys call them, how do you can't debunk that. You got the proof right there. It's there.
Yeah.
So again, it's just like, you guys constantly see me when I get so mad, I throw up my, I call them my 2 favorite diplomas, one from Bishop McKenna and one from Ed and Lorraine Warren. I throw them up every once in a while. And that takes me back, documenting it to going back into the 70s. So again, it's like, it just irritates me because you watch this whole new realm come in, and after Lorraine went down, everything changed. It
Yeah.
changed.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think so.
And
Um,
again, I take part of different aspects of that in strive now, and look at that, not realizing what Lorraine was going through, again, mentally realizing what was happening with the dementia and the other things. I because I used to walk away going, "What the hell? Why? Why is she talking like this? Why?" And then the next day it would be like nothing happened or anything, but I didn't understand. I didn't understand it at that point. I understand it now, again, and it was a rough spot and rough times a lot of times for her, dealing with everything the way she did, and it, and I promised her I would never tell anybody till after she passed away that we still talked. It wasn't often, but we talked, and especially if somebody in the family passed away or something. She would call me. You know, what was even more weird was she would always use somebody else's phone. She was smart enough not to use her. And she would say, "Dear, I'm calling from." I go, "I know. I saw the name come up on the caller ID, Lorraine." And we would talk, and we would just go back and forth. And she would always end it. "This conversation never happened, dear." I go, "Yes, Lorraine, it never happened." And I stuck to it. I stuck to it. And again, I didn't want her getting more grief and aggravation from people. I just didn't want to see, that transpire or happen. And again, if things didn't go the way they went, I would have never done what I did over the past several years.
True. Yep.
So again, I look at it by walking away from that situation. Uh, I don't usually, I'm more open of talking about it now with a lot of the different things. I remember driving back home. We were always 20 minutes south of them. I cried and cried like a baby in the car. I cried and cried and cried because I knew I could never go back up there again. I had to make that choice to stay away, or I wasn't going to be able to move forward.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been able to move forward. So I had to make that choice. It was a hard choice because I never did something like that before, but I did it, and I stuck to it. And since 2002, I have not been anywhere on that street. I've been on Route 25 many a times. I'll look up and just look at the little the cabana, whatever you call it there, and see that. But ever since I've never been on that street since.
Yeah.
So,
um, Stevie,
Christ, guys, you're getting me to spill my freaking guts.
Yeah.
I know. I'm about to start. I feel a little verklempt myself. But there's a couple questions here, and Stevie, I
Go
don't
ahead.
mean to interrupt, but
No, you're good.
uh, I just want to, because the chat's going crazy. So there's a few people that are asking this question. So hold on, let me bring this.
There's our chipmunk friend again.
I hear it. I know it's so weird. Okay, so Scarborough, he's asking, or she, sorry. I'm
It's
curious
Doug
if
Scarborough.
what?
It's Douglas Scarborough.
Douglas. Okay, got it. Um, I'm curious if John knows about the fire doll or if it's an item that was added later, as does seem to be what happened. There's a few people that asked about the fire doll. So that's why I'm
You
bringing
you better you better smile, Stevie. She debunked that one right to a freaking T. Okay, I wasn't familiar with no fire doll. I don't remember any doll that was tied in where several children had perished in a fire. Stevie, correct me if I don't get parts of it right. But again, and supposedly the doll survived, and then it covered its hands with the plastic bubble wrap, and I'm like, I got 1,000,001 dolls. I'm 69 years old. I got more dolls, I think, than any man I ever freaking met. But anyhow, and so dolls have that plastic when they ship them. They put them on the head and on
Yep.
the. So if that was in a fire, that stuff would have melted.
Yep.
And again, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was a black baby doll, correct?
Yes, it's
Okay,
the African American Honey Bunch doll by Susan
okay.
Gray.
Yeah, I don't remember all the details, but I remember, hearing the bits and pieces. So I don't know where that whole story came from. I didn't understand any of it, but I never said anything because then I was just like, all right, was this something I didn't know about? But then when you debunked it and when it was manufactured and it never tied in with the family, and I go, that's why I never heard this story. So then it added up to me and makes sense. So no, when I was around, there was no fire doll, not that kind of a fire doll, anyways.
Also, a lot of people are asking, hold on. Wait, if there's more to talk about that, please talk about it. I'm trying to, I'm trying to like listen. I have ADHD really bad, so I'm trying to like listen
That's all right.
to them, but
I
also,
think all of us have that.
yeah.
But I mean, as far as that goes, I mean, there's not really much to add. I mean, my gosh, the whole thing got, she's got the receipts. Well, if you got the receipts to back something, and again, it's corrected, then again, I look at that from the point. Okay, that made me feel better because then I didn't think I was going ticky ticky tock tock with some of the stuff I hear that comes out over the past several years since she passed away. So
Yeah.
again, no, I mean it's the best way I can explain it, short and sweet with that whole deal.
Yeah. I think we kind of touched on this in the very beginning, but I don't want to. I want to make sure I try to get to everybody's questions. But there's a couple of questions surrounding the same thing about how you feel about the presenting of the haunted objects in the Warren Museum with Matt and Elton. It seems like some things seem exaggerated. I guess some of the items that are in there. That was one. Dust Productions is asking, what does John think about all the personal effects that were left behind?
There goes Dust. He's been after me for the longest time. But anyways, okay. With some of I don't know, not unless somebody's seen something or there's footage or something that I haven't seen. I've just really seen Elton. I really haven't seen Matt in too much.
No, I haven't either.
Okay, all right, but the main things I've seen him talk about are just the main items that are in the museum. I watched one piece of footage that I saw where he moved some of the stuff around so you could see some of the other stuff, and I would go, "Oh, I remember this. Oh, I remember that." There were so many other cool items from Kate. That's the other thing too. Everybody keeps saying they were all the stuff in the museum came from tag sales. No, all that stuff didn't come from tag sales. Are there things in there that were picked up that weren't from cases? Yeah, I'm going to tell you right now. Yes, there was. So again, I would know what the difference was. And if somebody walked up to me and I was filming or something, and they go, "Is that from a case?" I would go, "No, he picked that up somewhere. I don't know where he got it, but was it from a case?"
So I
So
have a question for you then about a specific item.
okay.
Do you know anything about or have any opinions on the shadow doll? I have a very strong opinion on the shadow doll.
Okay, the shadow doll that came from an antique store down the street from Ed and Lorraine. The woman had purchased it or had it on consignment, whatever it was. She was claiming that there was paranormal activity in there. It was right in front of where the pizza parlor was. I wish I could remember the name of it. But anyways, they were friends with them. And she called them up and she said, "This thing is creepy, blah, blah, blah." They went down. They looked at it. Ed looked at it. He said, "Holy shit, there's something with this thing." And he brought it home.
Okay.
That is the onset of it. Maybe a couple of days later, I had walked into the museum. Cursing isn't bad on here, is it, or anything? I hope
No,
not.
no,
Okay.
go ahead.
All right. All right. I
You
walked
do
in,
you.
looked at. I go, "Where'd you get that piece of shit?" He goes, "Piece of shit. That's $1. Da, 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 da." Then he started telling me the whole story about the doll, how it tied in, that there was activity around it when the lady had it in the store. That was the original story I heard on it. So
Okay.
if Ed painted it or if Ed built it and put the teeth in it, that's news to me.
Okay.
Um, let me ask Eric's question because he asked it twice, and I'm not ignoring anybody. I promise. I have your questions starred, so I'm trying to to get to. Um, so, um, Eric, hi Eric, Vital, John. Tomorrow is the 51st anniversary of the Amityville murders. What memories can you share with us about this pivotal case?
It's such. There's so many freaking layers with Amity. Uh, hey Eric, I hope you like living down south, buddy. Eric's a character. I got. I love him. The stuff he posts, I sit here and I can almost piss my pants laughing. But anyhow, Amityville. I did not work on the original case. This is a true story. Ed had, we were going back and forth on the telephone. We're going to Long Island. We're going to go work on this case over there. You want to go? I said, no, I got a big test at school tomorrow. Oh, do I wish I missed that freaking test. And I wish I went, but I didn't. Anyhow, over the course of the years, I did not work on the original case. I've never been in the house. I did have the opportunity to get to know George pretty well. I lectured with him several times at Penn State, a couple of conventions. And uh, during the off time, when we're not doing anything, all of us know a lot of us will hang out in the bars. We'll have our beers, and people will sit and talk. And some of the stuff that Lee George, whatever you want to call him, he would come out with would scare the shit out of me. I mean, this guy. I looked at him. I think it was maybe the second time I looked at him. I said, if this guy doesn't do mojo, nobody does it. He had this look and glassy eyed, and he just went right at me. It was something about my aunt said something, and he got all pissed off, and he was, guys, dude, don't go after me. Call and tell her about it. But anyhow, and I watched the anger build up in him, and it was just the weirdest thing. I was with two of my other friends, and one of my Lou Gentili was my other friend. He passed away too. And he turned and looked at me. He goes, "Don't get him pissed off." And I go, "Why?" He goes, "Dude." He goes, "He gets mad and shit happens." I went, "What?" He goes, "Yeah." So, anyways, going and would work with them. And there was one time it was just him and I, and we were talking. And I go, "There's no way you could not have known about that piece of property and the murders on it." He goes, "Of course I knew about it." He goes, "But that wouldn't make good for the storyline, would it?"
I
And
knew it.
yeah, no, his grandfather owned the surveying company.
I
The,
knew he knew. I knew it.
there was no way. There was no way they could not know about
Yeah,
it.
seriously.
And he did. And I looked at him and I went, like that. And I just went, yeah, uh-huh. Then he turned and looked right back at F you, John. And I just went, I just laughed. Again, it's storyline. So
Yeah.
I am so used to that. None of that phases me.
Yeah.
So, but in the same breath, in the conversation, he goes, there was stuff in that house. And I go, well, what do you mean by that? He goes, John, there was something involved in that house. He goes, I'm telling you. He goes, I think I tapped into it. I went, what? He goes, I think I tapped into it. Okay, which would make perfect sense. So come to find out down the road, talking to a couple of people after he passed away, when everything starts coming out with most of these people, I had an opportunity to sit and talk with Chris Quarantino. And he goes, Johnny, you're probably one of the few people that know the truth about a lot of stuff. And I went, I said, dude, don't drag me into this shit, please. I said, Lorraine will call me up and start screaming again. But he goes, you knew he was involved with stuff. I go, yes, I do. I says, he told me that. So I was aware of that. And he goes, John, stuff did happen in that house. I said, Chris, I believe you. So in the onset with all of it, do I believe that there was something tying in with that? Do I think Butch DeFeo was involved with practicing certain things, yes, and I'm going to tell you why. And I never usually talk about this. A couple of people that he would practice with, one of them reached out to me and was scared to death because he had a lot of paranormal things happening with him, and he had blamed Butch for it.
Wow.
So, and I don't have any receipts. I can't back any of that.
Yeah. But
Again,
that would go
I,
along with the father being so religiously fearful.
correct. Now, there was also a priest involved with that from Montreal and a local priest that used to go over there and do blessings and do different things when the DeFeo family lived there. But
Yeah.
again, that wasn't unusual. You know what I mean? For
Yeah.
the priest to go over, bless the house, bless that. Yeah, they would do that. That was a
Mhm.
very common thing. So when I had talked to this other kid that was friends with Butch, I would ask him a certain different. I wish I could even remember his name. I I want to say I think he got killed way back a while back. Stevie, a lot of times I just don't remember a lot of the stuff because
I
there's
understand. It's a
so
lot.
much shit. There's so many. Anyway, and he said the priest would come over and he'd burn the incense. He would do different things, and they would have to sit there and pray, and they would make him pray, and it would creep him out because he would watch Butch get all fidgety and start shaking and cramp up. I went, what?
Wow.
I mean, these stories are so freaking crazy. They're better than what's out there.
Yeah.
But again, I don't have no receipts to back some of that stuff. So
Yeah.
therefore, it's just I'm just telling you what I know from what I experience with people. So the layers are there. I had talked to the elderly couple that had purchased it from the Historian Society way back in the day. They were involved with one of the societies they just wanted to preserve the house. They didn't
Yeah.
want nothing done with it. Again, he passed away. I had talked to her one other time. She had asked me at one point in time, she said, would you ever come in here? I said, I don't have an interest. And she goes, I can't believe this. She goes, you're the only person. She said that. I said, I just don't. I just don't have an interest in it. Now,
Yeah.
again, uh, uh, but that, do I think that under the layers of all the books, the movies, and all the crap, that there was something supernatural that tied in with all of it? I do honestly do believe that. And that's just coming from talking to the people direct.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember back phenomenology, John. You remember the phenomenologies? Well, Chris Quarantino was at one of the phenomenologies one year. Chris,
Okay.
and I had like an hour-long conversation with him, and I remember him telling me that his stepfather was in the basement drawing like the pen and trying to conjure up wherever he
See?
conjured up.
See?
He told me that, and he said that he waited until his mom had passed because he didn't want to create any issues for her. That's why he
Yeah.
decided to come out about the truth of what was really going on in the house or what
Mhm.
had happened. They said, the movies made him out to look like this hero, like he saved us, saved us and saved the family. But really, it was him that was causing all of the issues in the
Yeah.
house.
Danny corroborated that too.
That yeah, here's another thing too. You know, I don't often talk about it, but again, these people make the choice to go public, to do to do a book, to do a movie, and I'm going to tell you right now, the amount of money that they make isn't freaking worth the crap they go through. Again, the movies they're going to change everything around. They change the stuff in the books, and then these family they have to own it. They
Yeah.
don't have a choice sometimes because they right away the production companies and things will go after you. Trust me, I know. I went through it. So you stand up, and these poor people end up having litigation and costing them thousands of dollars. So they just let it go. They
Yeah.
and I understand it because I watched it. Here's
Mhm.
another thing I'll throw out on the table. I watched Lorraine two different times with two different families. Say to them, if you do decide to go public, dear, do a book, do a movie, you're going to get scrutinized. It's going to affect your family. It's going to affect your lives. Think about it before you actually move forward. I am witness to two times. One of them is the Southington case. I
Okay.
was right there when she did it. So again, then Ed would say, don't say that to him. And Lorraine would say, you have to give them the choice. They have to make the choice themselves. That's the honest to God's truth.
Um,
So
yeah, yeah, no,
No, that's great.
that's
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 great.
great. Um, so Erica is asking, John, what do you think of them claiming their house is haunted, even though the Warrens said it wasn't? I think she means,
I know what he's talking about.
yeah,
The house per se.
right.
I've never experienced anything there. There would be times we'd get back in late. I'd crash on the couch. I never had experiences in there. The museum, that's different. I remember swirling energy and different things that would occur and happen, and I would watch the look on my uncle's face and he'd go, "What's going on?" And I go, "Well, it feels like there's a lot of air and everything would be closed up." And he would go like that, and all right, come on, kid, we're going back upstairs. We're going back upstairs. So yeah, with a lot of that different stuff. Now, again, you got the perfect ingredients being done. All the stuff got disturbed in the house. Everything's getting taken out of the house. Is it, the remodeling, the repairing? Could it trigger paranormal activity? Sure, it could. Sure, it could. If Lorraine was going to haunt anything, it would be that freaking house. She loved it so much. She designed it. She built it. That big picture window on the front of the house. Oh my God, they got into such a fight over that window. She wanted particular glass, old antique glass in the panes, and it cost thousands of dollars. He went freaking nuts. So I could stupid stuff like that. I can remember because they were down talking. My mother, my uncle was telling my mother, "Babe, she wants this goddamn window. It's costing $20,000." I will never forget that.
That's
First,
amazing.
and,
I'm glad you said that.
yeah, and she did design all that,
Yeah,
and she
people have
was
asked me, so I'm glad you said that.
yeah. Now I can't. I could tell you when the house was purchased. It was purchased right after my grandfather passed away, which was 1960. So what had happened was my grandmother had given them money to put down to buy the house. Okay, and that's how they bought it. I don't know when all the two bedrooms got added on. I can't. I would say it was early '70s or late eight. Sometime when the barn got put up in the two little, because it was a little tiny shack house. All the houses on that street were little bungalows that were originally there, little tiny houses. So, anyways, but I remember when the big addition got put on, and it was just, I never seen two people fight like crazy as they did over that house, but I can understand that with construction. So
Yeah.
there's a step from where the dining room is up into the kitchen. And the house there and she had to put a ramp to push the wheelchair up. Okay, the reason that's like that was because they hit so much rock, it would cost thousands of dollars to blow the rock up to be able to have the foundations of the same, and said, I ain't paying no money to blow no more freaking rocks up or anything else, so they had to raise it up. That's another.
That's
I remember these things because they would argue over them. It was crazy.
yeah.
So again, but it's normal stuff people fight over. I mean,
Yeah.
it's going to happen. So where were we?
No, that brings up another question. I've seen a lot of argument over the museum being not originally attached to the house because people are arguing
Correct.
saying that it was originally attached and it would make the house haunted. And I said, no, it was separate.
No, no. I'm not 100% sure, but I think by what I remember, because it had to do with a couple of stained glass freaking more windows. Anyways, when they added onto the house, that's when they put that off the back to connect the barn to the house. So I want to say that's early '70s. I can't remember exactly when the big addition got put onto the house because they actually built the house over the little house.
Oh,
Literally. Yeah, I mean, it was weird. It was the craziest thing, but that's what they did, and that's how that all came about. And I'm positive that's when the tunnel got built, because I sure the heck don't remember any tunnel prior to the new addition in the '70s being put there.
Okay, awesome. Thank you for that because I've seen so many arguments on the internet over that.
No, there was where that door. I remember there was a big rock right there. And do you know? Just hear another stupid freaking thing. My grandmother was still alive. We were up there. One of the holidays. I want to say I would think it was Easter or something. We were going out. He wanted to show my grandmother some of the things they were moving around because he was breaking it down at that point from being the art studio. And they had chairs, and we went in and we were sitting there and everything. There was a rock right there, and we had to help because my grandmother was a little shit, and we had to help her to get up onto the rock and then up onto the step. And I remember her turning, looking at my uncle, and she goes, "This is a bunch of bullshit. I have to climb up on a rock to get in here." And it's just something I remember because it was funny. Anyhow, no. So the tunnel wasn't always. No, it was not always there. No,
Yeah.
no.
Awesome. I love it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So I would really like to, unless Taryn, you have
No,
a
no.
question.
Nope. This was actually
Okay.
just something funny that I was going to say. Fear the Living says, you come off younger than you are. How do you maintain your youthfulness, John? Is it demon blood? And if so, where can I get some?
Yes.
Well, you were around me this weekend. You see how crazy I get. Um, I I don't know. I try to keep as lighthearted as I can. I got my dark moments. I'm not going to tell you I don't, because I do. I'm no different than anybody else. But I I enjoy being around younger people. Again, it keeps me going. I like to laugh. I like to have a good time. You see me at the parties. I'll get up there and uh, uh, break the rug or whatever the hell you call it with everybody else and everything and have a good time. I enjoy doing stuff like that. I enjoy being around people that are a lot younger than me. People well, not my close friends because I got my group of friends that have nothing to do with the paranormal. They think I'm batshit crazy. But anyhow, again, it's separate worlds that I have. That there's a lot of the old time researchers that I've remained friends with for over the past 30, 40 years, and again, we go back and forth when something comes out or something will get posted, the phone will ring, or I'll come out here and it's hysterical. I get up in the morning, get my coffee ready. I turn and look at Cheryl and I'll go, well, let me go see what bullshit got sent to me now. And I'll sit here for about a half hour and go, John, did you see this? John, did you get? And then I got to go look at that and go read this and go watch this one show, watch that one show and go, bust out laughing. And I'll go, oh, that made my day. So, but again, all that, with all that is it's just amazing with me also just reading and seeing different things and taking that step back and um, I don't know. I don't know. Now, the $1,000,000 question. What do I think that there's something with Annabelle? Yes. Now, the stories that freaking float around about that over the past 10 years, Jesus Christ, I don't even know what the right stories are unless she posts the articles or something. I just, I take the step back and I just go, I don't know. It's just crazy. But there, what I base it on is before the movies, before everything, before he would say, "Don't touch that thing. There's something creepy with it. Don't open the case up, John. If I'm not around or anything, don't let people be pulling this shit out and touching it and dragging it all over." He used to say these things, and I'd be like, oh, "Yeah, all right, all right, all right, all right," and I wouldn't worry about it. And there was one time. This is weird. This is strange. I would just pop up out of the clear blue. Because, like I said, I would always drop food off. My mother would be cooking, and I'd have to bring it up there. I went and put the stuff up in the kitchen, and they weren't around, but the car was there. I was like, okay. So I had gone down. They were in the museum. It was summertime. The doors were open, and Lorraine was cleaning, and I had walked in the back door, not the front door, the side one there, and she was over near the side where the case was, and she was cleaning and everything, and she was standing on something, and Ed was right over there, and she leaned over to do something, and he goes, Jesus Christ, be careful. I fucking tell you all the time when you're near that goddamn doll, you don't know what's going to happen. It's going to cause more problems. I'm all right, dear. I'm all right. I'm all right. They didn't know I was there. There were no cameras. Nothing. They didn't see me because I was on all the way up front. They didn't see my car in the driveway. I was parked up front, and I walked down, walked up. There was trees and everything. You didn't see me going in the kitchen, and I came back down. Who were they performing for? The fucking ghost? What?
Yeah.
I mean,
John, did you ever have any experiences with Annabelle, or was it just always like what you were like, what Ed and Lorraine before the movies, before this? Like, I mean, were did you ever have personal experiences with
the chipmunks telling you. The chipmunks telling you here.
And the group.
They a couple of times when we were up there, and this is going back. Oh my God, we were driving back home, and I would end up going down the wrong roads, one-way streets. And the running joke with my girlfriend at the time was, "Oh, must have to do with Annabelle." Now this is in the '70s, right? And she just looked at me. She goes, "You're freaking creeping me out." She broke up with me. She wouldn't go out with me no more. Anyways, after
That's amazing.
after that, and another time too. I remember I was near it, and this was way back. It was in the chair when it was still in the living room.
Mhm.
And I remember I pushed everything over and I went to go move it. She screamed bloody murder. She goes, "Don't be touching that stuff. Don't be touching that stuff." And he goes, "What? She goes, he moved the doll and moved the things over there. He comes over, "John, don't touch that stuff." And he threw holy water. And I'm like, "What the hell are you throwing the holy water on me for?" Right? And she's in the kitchen. And I'm like, "What the hell is going on?" Right? So, anyways, it was like, all right, everything got creeped out, and I don't know. It was a weird situation, but I think there's something with it. Again, the amount of stuff that this freaking thing has been involved with, and the stories, it's just, it's just wild. It's totally wild. So.
Yeah.
Stevie,
That
you
that's I remember it when they brought it home. I remember the story. I actually met one of them. I don't know which one it was at their house.
Yeah.
It was afterwards because they were mad about some PR, some article or something that got done, and they had stopped. And Ed said, "Okay, I won't do anything, with your names or anything else in it again." Blah 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 blah. And I remember, then she had left and everything, and Ed just said, "Well," he said, "just got to change the names and things around so they don't get pissed off."
Yeah, that first article has their real names because I found
Yes.
one.
And one of them got mad. I wish I could tell you which one it was. They were right there. Had shown up, and they said, "Please don't put our names in the stuff. We don't want to be involved with that. We're worrying about our careers, blah, 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 blah." And I went, "Okay, okay, okay, okay." She left, and he turned and said that to Lorraine. We got to change the names and change everything around. So, again, some of the reasonings, I understand why they did what they did. And the reasons things would change. I remember one of the movies came out, and the VCRs just came out, and I think he just The Devil in Connecticut, whatever the original one was.
Yeah.
I can't remember. And what a debacle that whole thing was. Anyhow, he was watching it, and he shut it off. And I go, "Well, what are you watching?" And he was telling me about it and everything. And I went, and he was shaking his head. And I go, "Well, what's the matter?" He goes, "Jesus Christ, what a clusterfuck they made out of that." And I just went, "Okay," and like that. And I go, "Well, what do you mean?" He goes, "I don't want to talk about it." And he goes, "Now we got to own it." What? Okay. Again,
Wow.
yeah. And these are things I'm talking about now because nobody talks about it.
Yes.
Nobody does. Nobody understands. Things would happen, and they'd be out there. There were a couple of shows from the haunting in Connecticut that were such a debacle and such a freaking mess. Oh my God, I'll never forget that Sally show. I mean, it was like World War III. I lost a coat in my jacket in that one. She grabs me by my arm. Carmen grabbed me on the other side. We're out of here. Because the way the whole thing got set up,
Yeah.
we all got blindsided. I was supposed to be on the stage.
We wondered if they knew that they were going to do that.
Not that whole thing with the bed. They
Yeah.
wanted them to talk about it. And I remember I looked up at okay, just before they're going, "No, you have to go down in the audience." Ed started arguing with two of the producers because they put Carmen and Al in a separate room. Okay,
Oh.
with Tammy, Denise, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
Tammy. Anyhow, and Ed was like, "Oh, this isn't going good. Something's wrong. Something's wrong." And I'm like, "Okay." Anyways, what a debacle that whole thing turned into. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's what you
it.
gotta.
Yeah, I mean, they were left with doing what they had to do. And I remember on the way home, the only thing I remember, because they were in the back seat, I was sitting up front because I didn't want to get anywhere near him because I was waiting for him to freaking blow up and the windows were going to pop out of the freaking car. Anyhow, and as all as I can, I remember turning and I go, well, "Are you going to talk about it?" Lorraine turned to look. She goes, "Shut the fuck up. Don't bring it up right now." I shut right up, and that was the end of it.
Wow.
And
I
my
didn't think
uncle,
she had that in her.
I did.
oh, you didn't mess with her. You didn't mess with her.
I have heard
Trust me, you
stories.
didn't mess with. You've heard. I know you heard. But again, most people never saw that. Lorraine could stand her ground. Let me
Hmm.
tell you, and I give her big kudos for that. Because especially with a lot of things that she would do and move forward with, that she would stand her ground. And again, when you look at that big picture now, they didn't do half of the crazy things that they did back then. We wouldn't have a lot of the crazy, it just wouldn't be there today. It just wouldn't be
Yeah.
happening. Seriously. They took that chance and man, did they get beat up. I'd
Yeah.
watch it left and right. And then you'll love this one. My buddy Mike and Mike was a programmer just right when the internet started. And Mike was putting things together and showing me and going back and forth. And I was talking to Ed and Lorraine. I said, "We're going to put this up on the internet and it's going to be a cool thing. People will know how to find you." I don't want it. I don't want nothing to do with that. Nothing. Yeah, nothing to do with it. Ooh, ooh, I like that. I can't wait to see what are you boys going to put together. What do you need, dear? And she'd go to her box of pictures, and Mike and I were sitting there, and Mike was picking out what he wanted to put on the original site and everything. Got it all put together and everything. Finally got my computer and we set it all up and everything because they would come over, beep bop in and out because my mom and dad lived downstairs from us. Anyways, it's another thing. After my mom passed away, my uncle would come down once a week to take my father out to go get a hot dog.
No.
Do you know he would never call him Ed? It was always Warren.
Yeah.
He always Ed said to him one time. I was standing there. He says, "You should be calling me Ed." Shut the fuck up. You're Warren. And my uncle just busted out laughing. And I go, "Oh, you're not going to go up against the old man, are you?" He goes, "Uh-uh."
That's
But
amazing.
anyways, once a week he'd come down and take him out to go get a hot dog. I
Yeah.
mean, again, things like that are things that I have to look at when I hear stories
Yeah.
and hear
Yeah.
different things. Because again, go ahead, Stevie. What was this? I'm sorry, I'm all over the place.
No, you're good. I have a degree of separation from you. A girl I went to school with that I grew up with, her parents remember your mom.
Oh, okay.
Apparently, she used to babysit them. Their last name was Warren. I don't
You,
remember her dad's name. I'll have to ask and get back to you, but my friend Cassie Warren, her dad remembers your mom.
oh, okay, okay,
So I
all
thought that
right.
was really
That's pretty
interesting.
awesome. That is interesting, especially
Well,
how
okay. Did she babysit Babe and Warren or us?
Oh, no, no, no. Babe, your mom babysat my friend's parent.
Oh, okay, cool,
Yeah, I
cool,
thought
cool,
that was
cool.
interesting. I'll find out his name and let you know. But then I
Okay.
wanted to circle back around to I know there's people in the chat dying to talk about this and hear about it. You brought her up, so I would really love to know your feelings and anything you want to share about Judith Penny.
Judith Penny has been a part of our family since the get go. Um, she was involved. I can't tell you the time framing because I was 4 years old. So I'm the baby in the family. But if you watch the last movie, Judy Sparrow's the baby now. She's 10 years younger than me. I don't even want to. Anyways, she's been at our weddings. She's been at our christenings. She's been at family events throughout all the years. Um, I was at her wedding when she married Charlie. My wife and I were there. Um, she's always been there. She always lived in the apartment above Ed and Lorraine. That was built for her when they put the big addition on to the home. Um, she treated everybody in my family like they were her family. Um, I, I, I can't say anything on a negative level.
It's fair.
And do I feel in my heart of hearts that Judy Penny loved my uncle? Yes. There's
I agree.
no denying that. That woman would even go up there after she got married and moved out and spend time with Warren so Lorraine could go out. Who does that? I mean,
Yeah.
come on. It's a crazy situation. I'm not going to tell you it's not. It's bizarre, but it's always been like that, so I never really gave it too much thought.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't say that I would ever really say that I ever seen anything on a negative level from that woman. Like I said, when her and Charlie got married, then she had moved to Stratford, Connecticut. She was only 2 blocks over from me. We used to go over. We'd eat over there. They'd come over here. I mean, we were good friends. And then they packed up and moved down to Tennessee.
Yep.
Um, I think of her, actually, she'll even tell you this. She ever does. I used to call her Auntie Judy and her husband, Uncle Charlie. So, again, they've always been a part of our family. I would never, ever, ever take that away from that woman.
Mm-hmm. And I
Ever.
think people really miss this a lot in this whole situation, this whole scenario of Ed and Judy. They miss how much Judy loved Ed, how much she truly, really loved him, and they totally overlook that.
Um, no, you didn't, because you confronted it a couple of times. You brought it up, and I caught that. And I was very happy about that. Um, again, I never. That's why I never say anything. I never bring it up or anything. Again, like I said, it was crazy circumstances. I'm not going to tell you it's not. It was. Who does that? You got 3 people living there, and I just never looked at it as a bizarre thing because it was always that way.
Yeah.
So I
You
never,
only know it one way, it's normal.
and it wasn't until after my grandmother passed away, my mom would say, you know how old timers are? They never say anything. My mother would not talk about a lot of that stuff. And I remember at one point in time, I just looked at my mother and I go, I don't understand. Is that the daughter or not the daughter? And my mother just looked at me and she goes, I really don't want to have this conversation with you. And I go, but I don't understand. She goes, leave it that way. And I'm like, it was just a bizarre circumstances because the daughter was never there.
Yep.
So she lived with her grandmother. I mean, she publicly came out with it. She said it. So therefore, I was glad she did, and she brought it to the forefront that she lived with Mrs. Moran and Mr. Moran. I knew Mrs. Moran, beautiful person. I loved her. She was the sweetest thing. I used to get a big kick out of her and my grandmother when we would have family picnics. They get together. The 2 of them would sit there and have a couple of cocktails together. It was a riot. So, and my Uncle John, the 3 of them, they would sit there at the very last picnic when they were all still around, and they were having a few drinks together, cutting up and laughing about the old days.
I love that.
See, these are things people never talk about because
Yeah.
they don't bring them to the forefront. You had to be around to know a lot of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, again, anytime I would go up there, and Judy would come down. I mean, she'd automatically come downstairs to say hi, or and talk and different things like that. So
Yeah, and she's
I
mentioned in the books. She's
I
mentioned as
know.
being the person who answered the phone and took the messages for them.
And she did. She used
Hmm.
to do that. They'd be out on tour. She'd be taking care of the animals in the house. She'd be taking care of the telephones. Because I remember sometimes she would just say, Johnny, some of these people. She goes, she said, they scare me. I don't know what to say. I said, just take their name and number and tell them that they'll get back to them when they get back in town. So I mean, I can't be any more clearer on the circumstances. I mean, again, they're not the first couple in the world to have other people, another partner. I mean, it's just, again, it's not an unusual thing to hear about other people,
True.
living that way.
That's
So,
true.
Yep.
but again, and people always paint them as holy rollers. Again, Lorraine was a lot more involved with the religion than Ed was. Ed was more interested in the supernatural from all perspectives of the field of the work. Lorraine would go to church. She would, do a lot of things. Ed did follow his Catholicism. And now, as crazy as that sounds, I know. How do you do that and live the way they did? Well, how do all the other people live the way they do and do it? So again, it's a part of it, and I would just watch it and see it. And when there were exorcisms done or anything, I mean, you saw a different side to the both of them. She'd be praying and praying and praying, and he would get quiet, and and he would acknowledge and everything, and he would walk back out, and I would watch him and everything. Everybody okay? Everybody all right? Everybody okay? So the view of seeing the behind the scenes compared to what the rest of the world viewed, I saw a different side.
Yeah.
I saw the people.
Mhm.
Yeah. So they
Yeah,
fought,
and that's
they
why I like
argued, they
doing
were normal
interviewing
people.
people that knew them,
Hmm.
because when you look from the outside, especially if you're getting your information from the movies,
Oh,
none of it's right.
oh,
So when you get people that actually knew them and you ask them questions and get their perspective versus, so like you'll have people who have the perspective of they thought they were genuine, nice, kind people, and then you'll have families that had a bad experience and they thought they were
yes,
money hungry and after,
yes,
book deals and stuff, and you have all these different perspectives, and I think it's all true. I think all these things can be true simultaneously.
correct. You're absolutely right. And I'm not going to disagree with you. Now, on the flip end of that is that people think they made all kinds of crazy money off of the books and movie deals. They co-authored everything they ever freaking did, so they never got 100% of the proceeds. I
Yes.
remember her saying at one point in time they were getting 25 cents off of each copy of the Demonologist.
Wow.
Gerald Brittle was getting a bigger cut out of it. Then there was another loop in thing with something that some deal they had worked on. Then with the Snedeker book, that was a three-way deal.
Mhm.
Anybody that the Carmen, uh, um, um, any of them that the families, a writer, and the Warrens, that was a three-way split.
Yep.
Plus
Yep.
whatever they had to pay from the publishing. So did they make money? They made money, but they sure the hell didn't make no big killing off of books. They made it off their lectures.
Lectures, yeah. That's what I
Yeah.
discovered was all of their their because they had the manager and they did the lecture circuit and everything.
You want me to tell you how that started?
Yes.
Okay. Now, as you know from your research that you brought to the forefront, thank you very much. Ed originally started working with Mary Pasquarelli.
Hmm.
Mary Pascal, I was very good friends with her right up to the end. Actually, I was at the Farnsworth house with her a few months before she passed away, and several of the other people that Ed was working with and everything. The University of Bridgeport had contacted my uncle to do a lecture on the hauntings and the ghost and all these different things. He went, he did this whole presentation. He had little cue cards and everything set up for it. He came back home and Lorraine said, well, how'd it go and everything? And he handed her a check. He goes, I got paid to do that. She said, well, that'll end here. We will be getting paid. Ah, that's how it all freaking started with the
I love
lectures.
it. That's
And
amazing.
how it all started with their agent, Scott Wolfman, whom
Hmm.
I'm very good friends with also. He was an agent. He broke off. He started his company. Ed and Lorraine actually, helped him build his company. I mean, they'd be out September, October, November out lecturing. So ching, they were making some decent bucks off of the
Yeah.
college lectures.
Yeah.
So again, they went out there and they did it. So, but again, a lot of People got pissed off at the way they did things. A lot of people got pissed off that they went public with things.
Hmm.
Again, I understand all that. I look at both sides of it. I know. I watched what the Maurice Theriault family went through. I worked on a couple parts of that. Carmen Snedeker, the family got shredded, shredded. He lost his job. She lost her job. The woman upstairs, here's a good one for you. The woman upstairs that came down in one of those clips, oh, the house isn't haunted. The house
Yeah.
isn't haunted. She came down. Five of us were sitting in that kitchen screaming. She got attacked. She got attacked. We went up the stairs. Nothing was going on. She came back down again 2 times. She got attacked. She got attacked. We went up and helped her out. Boom. All right. She came back down outside when we were filming and everything. She said, "There's nothing going on here." Well, guess what? The person that owned the freaking house was an attorney, and he was a real estate agent and owned the house, and she worked for him.
Wow.
Wow.
So what is she gonna do?
Yeah.
She's gonna do a flip. Ed turned and looked at me, looked at Lorraine. Lorraine tried to grab him. We knew what was gonna happen. He went right at her. They caught it on the camera. He goes, "You damn liar." He goes, "You blah, blah, blah. We were here the one night. You came down screaming." So, again, something people don't know because they weren't there. I was there. I witnessed it.
Yeah.
So, all the crap that goes on with going public on these poor cases, I didn't blame the families. I don't blame them.
Yeah.
Again, it just gets so crazy and so nuts that they can't take it. It's crazy.
Yeah. I think this whole last hour and a half has made me realize that the perspective is so important. Like I try to incorporate all perspectives when I cover cases to make sure that each angle is discovered, but like you don't always think about one perspective over another. Is people tend to latch onto that mainstream perspective and they don't look from the other sides even though they're presented with that information. So having someone who was in that perspective be the forefront of the conversation is really cool.
Yeah.
I think again, I always remained quiet with a lot of the stuff. I, I she would always ask me to, don't, go to the forefront with things. Please just let me handle it the way I need to handle it. And I respected that. And, she had said to me several times, she's after I'm no longer here, I don't give a fuck what you say. And that's how she would put it to me. And I'd be like,
Love it.
and I left it alone, left it alone. I didn't, until just watching all the crazy hula and all the stuff that, it goes on now and everything. And stories get changed and this gets changed. And people are taking this and that one's touching this and everybody's doing all this crazy. And, and the people that were around them, we're all friends with a lot of the different people. 40, 50 of the researchers that we were there in the 80s and the 90s. And, it hurts when they'll call me up and they'll go, "Johnny, that," I go, "Who are you telling?" I said, "I know, I was there. I dealt with that." And they go, "You need to speak up." I go, "Nobody's going to listen. No one's going to listen. Nobody cares." No,
That's
again,
changing though. I've noticed. People
listen.
didn't used to, but they are starting to.
And again, Stevie, I had so many people step up and just say, "Johnny, we are so glad you're finally talking."
Yes.
And I go, "You know what?" I said, honored and respected what I was asked of from the both of them. Now they're gone. I don't give a shit no more. I don't care.
There you go. Yeah.
Let them even say what they want about me. I don't even freaking care. It don't bother me.
Yeah.
None of that stuff bothers me anymore. It just doesn't. Because again, I saw it. I witnessed it. I seen it, and it was a type of thing that is very difficult. What bothers me, and no one could change this, and no one could cover this up. You got people that are out in the forefront talking about this, talking about that. Ed and Lorraine this and that. Ed and Lorraine that. Where the frick are all of us that worked with them in the 80s and 90s? You don't see any of them in the forefront. None of
Yeah.
them.
That bothers me
None
a
of
lot.
them.
Well,
And I've
It
that's
spoken
bothers
to a lot of
me.
you behind the
yeah.
scenes, and I've convinced some of you to come forward. So yes.
Yeah.
You're part of the reason why I do, because again, and she'll tell you this because I talked to her about it over the weekend. I said, when I see somebody present something Stevie, and they're doing it wholeheartedly, and they're trying to do it to correct something. You can always fix things. Things
Hmm.
can be fixed. Doesn't mean it didn't happen,
Exactly.
but
People make
they
mistakes.
and like I said, I watched it. Newspaper articles would come out, magazine articles would come out, news things would come out, and Ed and Lorraine would sit there. How do we fix this now? And Ed would go, "We got to go along with it. If we don't go along with it, what are we going to do?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "But that's going to make it worse." He goes, "John, you don't understand." He goes, "It's even going to make it worse." And look at the debacle now.
Yep.
Again, it's just it's batshit crazy.
It is. Yeah. And there's so much pressure from, like, so when you do something that you learn is incorrect or has a different, you need to present it differently to correct how it was presented originally. There's the fear of that, of people looking at you differently or accusing you of lying or stuff just because you're trying to make a correction. That stops people. That stops people from owning a mistake or from owning a some misinformation that they perpetuated. Like, people don't understand how much better it is to acknowledge that truth and correct it.
I could not agree with you more. I mean, again, uh, so many times people will say that to me. I mean, she was in the room all weekend with us. I had person after person coming up to me, John. We feel so bad. What happened? We saw your postings. That blah 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 blah. And I would just be like, it is what it is. I said, it's just the way it goes and everything. So, um, it, it's a difficult. Like I said, it's a difficult thing. And again, I sit back and watches some of these other things where, especially with the haunting in Connecticut, I keep hearing that Chris McKenna was the chief head researcher in the case.
Yeah.
Well, he was there. He just got back from Africa. We won't go down that road, but if he pushes me enough, I'm telling you, so I'm listening to a couple of these shows he's doing, and
Uh-huh.
man, I don't know where he's getting his freaking information from. But
Yeah.
um, again, um, I was there. I fled that house for 3 days, not 10 days, 3 days. And was I scared? Yeah, I ran out of there screaming and crying like a little girl. I admit it. I always have admitted it. Carmen even laughs about it to this day. So, but, anytime anything was going on or anything, Ed Lorraine came to me with it.
Yeah.
They didn't go to him. So, and he wasn't there as much as he seems to be claiming he was. I'd love to get Carmen to come to the forefront, but Carmen's so tired of all of it.
I understand. Yeah.
And then after Philip, you know, passed away and everything, she got so disheartened with talking about all this stuff.
Hmm.
Again, because I had mentioned it to her a couple of times. I said, "You got to hear what Chris is out there doing." She goes, "John, please don't get me going." She, because I do talk to her. We've remained very good friends over the years.
Hmm.
So, again, I had worked with my aunt and uncle. I got the receipts to prove it. He claims he was training me for the very first time on hauntings and the supernatural. That is not true. A heavy duty case, and yes, that was the first time I ever met Chris McKenna. Was in the haunting in Connecticut. I never met him before,
Hmm.
but yet he claims he was always up at their house. I sure the hell don't remember seeing him.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I
He's
don't know.
telling a lot of tall tales these days.
Yeah, and I would love some of the researchers that allegedly worked with him to come forward. I
Yeah.
haven't seen any of that happen.
Yeah. And I have a question for you that I would like to ask here for a future episode I'm working on. Do you know if he ever went to the Philippines?
Good possibility.
Okay.
That
Thank
kid,
you.
that kid has been around to a lot of different places. I
Okay.
will say, I will say that.
And we'll see
Um,
what that pertains to very soon.
oh, wait a minute. I think, yeah, yes, I think he did. Yes, I think, yeah, 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 yeah. He did. He did. He did. I just remembered it. I just remembered.
Thank you for that.
I hope you cover that the right way too. Anyways,
Oh yeah.
She will. You know that.
yes, I do. But again, like I said, no more. I sat back, kept my mouth shut. I'm done. I mean, again, some of that stuff's got to get rectified. Some of it's got to be straightened out. Again, but Stevie, you answered something right there. How hard is it for someone to stand there and after something airs or something's done and turn around and say, no, it wasn't this way, it wasn't that way, because they don't want to eat crow, as that word
Yep.
goes.
Yep.
But I look at it differently. If I did something wrong or said something wrong, I'm the first one to step right up and say it.
Same. Yeah, I
I,
don't want the misinformation. I want the
no,
correct stuff. If I
no,
messed it up, please tell me. Don't be
yeah,
afraid to tell me. Don't be worried that I'm going to lie, because I'm definitely not. If you found something and you have evidence and receipts that contradicts something I've already presented, you're damn right I'm going to present it again and say, I was wrong. This is the information and here's the receipts.
yeah,
And that's what I said to John this weekend. I was like, Steve, I said, I respect her so much because this is how she operates. And that's exactly what I said. If she's wrong, she writes it. If she's right, you know what I mean? Like,
hmm
you know, um, there's
but
a
let's just touch a little bit on the last movie, the rights.
Let's do it.
okay. There are questions, but I can wait so we can talk about
Let's talk a little bit about this. Look at that face on Stevie. She's eating this shit up. But no, I went to I go to the matinee because I will not pay full price because I
That's what I
know.
did.
Yeah, usually I'll get aggravated and want to walk out. Actually, I used to go with my son and daughter, but they won't go with me anymore because I sit there going, "What the fuck
Yep.
is?"
Yep. I
They're
went
going,
alone.
"Dad, shut up! Just shut up."
Yep.
Anyways, I sat there through this whole movie and I went, "Who are these people? What happened to the Smurls? It was supposed to be about the Smurl case."
Yep. Yep.
And
I kept saying, wait, I want to know the story.
a mirror for a birthday, the Conjuring mirror. She's spitting out. Where did this come from? It
Yep.
had nothing to do with the case. And again, just watching the movie and the whole thing, I was like, "Are we here on a biography of Tony and Judy Spera?"
Yeah.
That's what I felt like I was watching.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
exactly.
again, I kept waiting for them to start with the Smurl family and get in. I mean, what, two or three parts were about the Smurl family, and an engagement and a birthday party and a freaking wedding. And,
Yep.
then she's 10 years younger than me. And I'm like, man, oh man, I'm no longer the baby in the family. What happened? They keep changing all that stuff around, and that's
Yeah,
totally
I was so
crazy.
frustrated when the Smurl daughter Heather says to her father, "You don't know what's happening to us." And as an audience member, I was screaming, "I don't either. Tell me."
I did the same thing. I did, yeah. I said, well, I was like, okay, there, the door's open. Are we going to hear about it?
Yes.
That's what I was hoping. And
Mhm.
like I said, again, out of all the movies, I mean, I just walked out of there. I talked to two of my cousins. I said, don't even go see it. And they're
Mhm.
going, why? And I told them. They went, what? And they're going, well, wait a minute. Judy was married before and had Heather and Chris. I go, I know, but it doesn't come off that way in the movie. And I go,
Nope.
if I was Judy, I wouldn't be too happy about that. And if
Right?
I was
How could
Chris
you
and
be
Heather, I
comfortable with
wouldn't.
that?
I wouldn't. No, I'd be very
Yeah.
upset over that.
Mhm.
Very. And if I was Heather and Chris, I'd be upset over it too. Sorry,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I don't care.
It was really frustrating. And what I really upset with the whole thing, because as a film, as casting is, as far as casting is concerned, acting is concerned, costuming, the effects, all of that, I loved. Like, if they had just done the writing and put the story together properly, that would have been an amazing film.
Yeah, if they covered the story. That,
Yeah.
again, and again, Judy went public with all this. She never had nothing to do with the paranormal, never wanted
Yep.
anything to do with that.
Yep. Yep.
I cannot picture her jumping in a car and driving to any case.
Right? And
When
not
they
telling
did
her
that,
parents, like,
I,
it was their job.
and then they had to run down behind her, and I'm
Yeah.
just like, no, Ed would have been like, Judy, I can hear him now. He would have said, Judy.
Yeah.
Again, no, it it totally blew my mind, and I just
But
no,
and that's what it feels like it's happening now. It's becoming the Tony and Judy show. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like everything's being, I gotta, I don't know. There's been some questions that people are asking, like how you feel about um Tony now, how he's running things, how he's running Nesper, how he's, and if you think Nesper's going to continue because it, to some people feels like it's died out. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. You can choose to not give your opinions of how you feel about Tony. I respect that just in case he sees that. I don't want any family drama. People have to remember it's more than
I
just
live in family drama. Are you
but
kidding?
but again, it's more than just you and Tony. You know what I mean? You have other family members that
That
aren't
that's
part of
that's
all of
where
this.
okay, that's where it gets, a little sticky and it gets a little convoluted because again, it ties in the paranormal with family stuff. Um, Again, I don't have any connection. There isn't a connection there. There never was. So again, um, it's very disheartening when I talk to a lot of the old researchers, again, that were there in the trenches when we did the hardcore investigating and did a lot of the stuff. They're just not really, again, watching and seeing it, they can relate to how I handle it and watch it. And I had several people, especially recently, say to me, you always felt bad that you walked away that day, but that was the best thing you could have ever done. And I can't disagree with them now. I
Right,
can't.
right,
Watching, you know, everybody has their own ways of doing things and handling things, but again, there's no connection. Um, again, it's just not there.
right.
It's not there.
Um, uh, but do you think that Nesper is kind of dispersing and falling apart? Do you think that I mean they started, your aunt and uncle started Nesper, you know what I mean? And it got to me, I feel like it got into the wrong hands. And that's just my personal opinion. I'm not speaking for you. I'm saying that it got into the wrong hands. And unfortunately, something that's been around for 50 something years is it feels like now it's being I don't know what the word is that I'm looking for, but
Making a
um
mockery.
yeah, mockery. I mean, I feel like Tony is ruining your aunt and uncle's what legacy they would have had he just because I mean, was he even a part of the paranormal? He wasn't either. Him nor Judy. I mean, were they even a
Well,
part of the paranormal?
again, on Judy's defense, I understand how she feels about it. She doesn't want any part of it. She never really does. She does do things and gets involved with it now, but that's just because of Tony. I mean, again, if she doesn't do it, were they going to? Again, it's a difficult situation, probably more so for her to be involved with. You know, um, which trying to keep things on an even keel. Um, I sit back and watch, just like the rest of yous, what goes down, what happens, and sometimes silence speaks volumes.
Mm,
We see what's happening, we're watching what's happening.
right.
And again, I often wonder, and I can't, none of us can answer this, is what would Ed and Lorraine think today? What, how would Ed handle some of the situations? Because you got to remember, all this stuff wasn't about at that point in time. Again, with the movies and things like that, I don't know how he would feel about. I'll tell you, the last rites he wouldn't have liked. I'll tell you that right now. I'll bet anything on that. I know. I could hear him mother effing that TV up and down right now if he was watching that one.
Yeah.
But um, what the fate of um, Nesper is, I don't know. I have really no connections with that. Most of the people that I was friends with over the course of, the 30, 40 years, um, a majority of them, good 30, 40 of them, I'm very good friends with. Some of yous, we all have mutual friends, and I'm very grateful for that because we can get on the phone and, piss and moan to each other and not have to worry about the retaliation that comes at some of us, if we say too much or go too far public. And again, what the fate of any of it is, I really don't know. Um, I know the both of them built it. It was something they both built together. I would watch them. Oh my God, I'd watch them argue and fight over different things. I'd watch them fight over going public. I would watch them fight over what they wanted to do with the movie, uh, what they wanted done, and how they would want it done. And I can't say I really see too much of that ever really moving forward to what I think they wanted to see or you know um, occur.
Right.
It's so difficult. It's difficult to answer certain things because I have to take the step back. Like now, I opened up about more stuff tonight than I have in years about things, so that people, I'm hoping, are grasping onto that and get a better understanding of some of it.
Sure.
You know, in the
Sure.
beginning, do I think wholeheartedly when they were involved with doing a lot of things and watching them, even as they went forward and watching the craziness that happened with Lindley Street and all of it, I think they got bit by the Hollywood fame. They did. And they would get more public, and the more things that would come to the forefront, and the more things that would happen and occur. And again, it it kept going. I was fortunate because I was always on the background of it. Doing the cases, doing the research, and with the craziness that would happen. This I'll share also too. This was after. Oh, I never finished the story about the fucking about the computer. Anyways, they were here. They showed up. They're getting ready to go eat. Ed wanted to eat. He didn't want to see the computer. It was the big. Remember the big old screens and. All right, Mike is sitting there and he's pulling the site up. Ed and Lorraine are standing there and they're looking at it and looking at it. Ed walked out. And I was like, okay, but that was typical for Ed not to say anything and walk out of a room. And Lorraine says, "Let me see more, dear." Mike went into different pages. He was showing her and showing her. She walked right up alongside me because I was standing there, took her finger, went right down my shoulder. "That's the tool of the devil, don't you know?" And Mike looked at me. I looked at him and busted out laughing. She walked out and she goes, "Ed, Ed." She's screaming for Ed. And they were in the kitchen with my wife getting ready to eat. And he goes, "They don't like it." I go, "No, they love it." He goes, "All of yous are freaking nuts. All of yous."
That's
And
amazing.
but you stop and think about that one statement she made. Tool of the devil. And what happened today? I'm not just talking about them. I'm talking about everything in general. I mean, somebody bites on something and they run with it, and then it becomes fact with a lot of people. No receipts to back it, but it becomes fact. But
Yeah.
anyways, I figured you get a kick out of hearing about that. They were the third paranormal page to ever be out there.
That's amazing.
Yes, and she would just look and go back and forth, and she was just standing there, and I'm biting my bottom lip because Mike is like, he didn't know what to make of it at that point in time. Then that's what I said when she walked out and everything. He goes, "They don't like it." And the way I did say it to him, I go, "Dude, they fucking love it." He just looked at me and he goes, "You're all nuts. All of you are crazy." But
That's
anyhow,
amazing.
that was the launch of their very first site. Yep.
Wow.
That's so cool.
But anyways, that's what I was saying. I was always on the back end of a lot of the stuff. We're going in, doing the cases, doing the research, and getting involved with the clergy working with them and setting different things up. That's why, Stevie, one thing that bothered me very much is when people were saying there was no exorcism that took place in the Southington case. I was there. There were
Okay.
three priests that were involved with that. So it did happen. The priest went in the back and came in. They set everything up. They put the stuff all over the place, and it's a true story about the little Virgin Mary story. I don't know if you ever heard me talk about that. The hands melted off of it. The priest screamed because it was in the living room. I have it. Carmen gave it to me years later. But anyways, there was an exorcism and it was sanctioned by the Diocese of Hartford.
Okay.
It was Sister Margaret. I was standing right there when Lorraine hung the phone up and she goes, "It's authorized, dears. We're moving forward." And I
Wow.
went, okay. See, these are the things that I would watch her on the phone with the clergy and the Bridgeport diocese. Forget it. They would get on the phone and start fighting. And again, I was so happy Walsh went public after he retired and said he had no choice but to debunk
Yeah.
everything. I was
Yeah.
so happy when he finally did that. Again, that spoke volumes because that destroyed them. That was the beginning of the downfall. It was
Mhm.
happening. I talked to cops. There was cops up at their house talking about it. So
Yeah.
again, they're not going to make stuff up. They got nothing to gain. Nothing. So again, it's crazy. It is crazy.
Um, there's a question here, and you can feel free to answer or however you choose to answer it, John. You've been great so far with all these questions. Some of them are hard. But do you think that the Annabelle that was on the parade and is the original Annabelle, or has it been replaced? Because
I
there
don't know.
are rumors that there is more than one Annabelle.
I can't answer the question on whether it's the real Annabelle or it's not. I've never been at any. No, I shouldn't say that. Up in Maine, they were upstairs. I was downstairs. Anyhow, they suppose they had everything up there. Whether it's the real one or it's not the real one, I can't say yes. I can't say no because I have not been close enough to be able to tell you.
Right.
Someday, if I'm ever close enough, I will make a few remarks on a few things that I know at that point in time and say, well, yeah, I think that's a good possibility. That might be the real one.
Okay.
I mean, it's been stolen. It's been all over the place. There's two or three of them. Ryan Buell saying it's all over the place, and all this other crazy bullshit. Got kidnapped, and I don't know what's going on with this stupid freaking thing. It's all over the place. What a
Is there
famous
more than
that
one?
damn thing got so famous, huh?
Yeah.
I know, a
So
doll.
famous.
I mean, I feel bad for her. I mean, she's been accused, but she's never been convicted, and she sits in that little box. And I'm like, I mean, well, I commented on one of Ryan Bell's videos. I'm like, hashtag free Annabelle. I'm like, accused, never convicted, and he gave me like the emoji, like he couldn't believe I said that, and I'm like, well, I mean, but is there more than one? I mean, that you know of?
I not that I had ever seen. I've only seen one.
Right.
There's a story or something that Lorraine had publicly said years ago that they had a prop one that they used
Hmm.
for when they were doing PR stunts and stuff. Okay, would that surprise me? No, it's not going to surprise me because Ed would always scream, "Don't touch that freaking thing! Don't touch that freaking thing!" So
Hmm.
again, that's not going to surprise me. And then you got the picture of her holding it, on the side there near the barn. So I I don't know. Again, I can't say yes. I can't say no. I just get a big kick out of watching it. They're parading it all over the place in this freaking crate, and now they got a black cape over it. Crosses hanging off the freaking thing, and the priest is running behind it throwing. What is going on?
It's a circus for sure.
One thing that bothers me about that whole thing is anybody knows when a priest is blessing or any clergy person, any spiritual person is doing something, you're never behind, you're always in front.
That's
So
important.
again, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and I'll fess up to it. But any clergy person, spiritual person I ever seen, they're in front of a situation, not behind a situation.
Right.
You know, throwing the holy and everything. But when I saw the black cross with the black cape over it with the crosses, wait, what is going on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? I
Yeah.
was waiting for it to show up in the Salem Halloween parade. For Christ's sake, I didn't know where it was going to show up next.
Kiwi is asking, was the Warren's house blessed regularly or just the haunted items area?
No, the whole thing. I can't say how often I've been there when I've seen pre- another comical story. Yeah, you know, she would always have meetings with 5 or 6 different priests. Father Labar, he was head of the whole freaking thing at one point in time for the Roman Catholic Church, and Ladantis and all these other ones are all passed away now. So anyhow, when they'd all be there having the meetings and everything like that, it was hysterical because she would say, "All right, which one of you is doing your job and blessing all this shit?" And it would be hysterical to watch it because all of them would go, yeah, 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 yeah. And then she goes, well, you're not getting coffee or snacks if you don't do your work. I'm not kidding you.
That's amazing.
And then you would hear them swear. Then you would hear her go back at them, and she'd go, "Well, I'm a Christian lady. I'm not swearing." And they go, "Oh, bullshit!" And it was funny.
That
I
is
mean,
great.
it's just funny. It's funny stuff, not bad stuff. It's just funny. So yeah, I mean, I was there when, several times that was done. Was it done weekly or monthly? I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
That's the
Um,
best I could answer that for you.
yeah. Um, so this is okay, John. Why do you think recollections vary so much now? As Stevie has proven time after time, truth is there if you know where to look. Why is there an insistence on presenting twisted stories? I
I
think,
don't know.
yeah,
If you'll recall, not that long ago, I think it was when the house first got sold, I had put a story up that I remembered about the septic system in the back. I had everybody call me. I had everybody and their brother calling me up. They go, "Man, you couldn't have said that any better. It's perfect timing. Clean out the septic system. Start fresh." It was a perfect opportunity to
It
do it.
was. Yeah.
Again, I had friends say to me, "Oh my God, you!" I go, "But it's a true story." I was standing there with them. The yard smelled like shit because she wouldn't call them to come clean it out because they were on the road. And oh my God, they were screaming and yelling. She's out there with the aerosol spray, spraying the ground, trying to cover the smell because a film crew's coming. I'm up on the deck and I'm going, does she really think that's going to work? Shut up, John. They start screaming at me. It was so funny. So I don't know. Again, the opportunity it presents itself over the past several months. You know, to rectify things or to correct things, and whether people choose to do so or not is kind of crazy because there's so many people that know the truth. The truth
yeah,
is there, and again, you could speak volumes on some of the different things and how they occur and how they happen. And I don't know. To me, it's just it hurts nothing to fix something.
right.
Agreed.
The
Yeah,
fire doll. We know it's not a true story. Who's it going to hurt to it just let you know? Uh, again, no,
Yeah.
no, no, no. No one got killed on a motorcycle. It's okay. There was an accident. I remember it. The big, bulky kid. He didn't die from what I remember, but I remember Ed saying the freaking kid got in an accident on the way home. And I don't remember a girl being with him, but I could
Yeah.
be wrong on that. I don't.
It
Again,
wouldn't hurt anyone or anything to tell the truths about these things. Like, I feel like Elton thinks if he didn't tell the truth, he wouldn't get people booking.
oh
People would
yes,
still
he
book.
would.
They would
Sure, they
still
would.
book.
yeah,
Absolutely.
I
yeah,
mean,
If you
why
told
why
all the
wouldn't
truth,
they? Yeah.
everything down to a T, people would still book.
Yeah. If anything, I think people would be more fascinated.
Yeah.
I
Exactly.
mean, that's my opinion. It's like when I hear something, I go, I love it because now there, it's straightened out. It's straightened
Yes.
out and it's to the
Yes.
forefront. You know,
Hmm.
I still can't figure out what freaking year the Annabelle story was anymore.
I know. Thank you
It
so
flips
much.
every time I turn around. Somebody's got a new year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Um,
crazy. Unbelievable.
entity. I'm sorry. Hold on a second. I need my
Oh,
glasses.
okay.
Sorry.
Entity Seven Paranormal. John, if you have the opportunity to go visit Ed and Lorraine Warren's home now,
I don't know if I could handle it.
would you?
You know, I'm a tough old bastard, but there are things that bother me, and I don't, I can't answer that for anybody because I don't know. I have not even been up that street since 2002.
Right.
I won't even. I don't know. I walked out the door that day and I never looked back. So I don't. There's certain things in life that, with me, I'm quirky that can affect me, and I don't know how I would handle that walking in. And it's got nothing to do with Elton or the other dude. It's got nothing to do with those two kids. I mean, they're doing what they can to fix it up. I'm watching. They're at least preserving the house and trying to fix it up. I mean, I give them credit for that. I honestly do. The kids working kind of hard to pull it together and everything. And I know that kid's got to be hearing a shit storm behind the scenes.
Oh
I
yeah.
know a lot of people that tell me they send them emails and they send them messages and everything. They go, "Don't you?" And I go, "No." Why? All you guys are doing it. He don't need to hear from me.
Yeah, he's definitely getting it from a lot of angles.
And I hear it. A lot of people tell me. So I don't know how I would handle that. That's like, it's a funny thing with me. You're going to laugh at this. Um, I'm funny about going to cemeteries because I don't believe they're there.
I agree
If
with you. I agree.
that, that's just a body. It's a grave or anything like that. I know I got a weird way of looking at a lot of that stuff. But right after Ed had passed away and everything, I would always go up to his grave just to stand on his grave to see if I could feel him. I know it's creepy. It's weird because I didn't even do it with my mom or dad or other people in the family, but I always viewed him differently.
Hmm.
It
That
was
makes
we,
sense.
yeah, and he used to, and he never really did it with any other people because I've never heard anybody else bring it up. Penny for your thoughts, kid. He used to say that to me. And a lot of times he would throw a penny at me. And I go, "What? What do you want?" And he'd start laughing. So I had thrown a penny on the little marker that was there. And after that, people just kept putting money on it, kept putting all kinds of money on it, putting pennies on it. Lorraine thought it was this divine thing. She thought a divine because the pennies with the different dates on it were tying in with different things that she was talking about it. And I saw her talk about it one time on a video, and I went, "Oh my god!" Like that, I'm the one that freaking started that, and she thinks they're divine and coming down. I told Judy Penny about it, and she got hysterical laughing. She goes, "John, leave her alone. Let her think that." And I did. I left it all because I said, "Judy, I got to fix this." She goes, "Johnny, leave it alone. Just, just let her
That's
think."
amazing.
And I went, "All right." This is the first time I've ever talked about that, besides telling Judy Penny about it.
That is such a good example, though, of how stuff can get lost like that.
I know, I know. I started this whole freaking, and I went, "Oh my god!" Because I said it to. I've asked other researchers. I said, "Did Ed ever say that to you, Penny, for your thoughts?" And there was only, I think it was Terry or Frank. One of them had said, "They go, I think he used to say it once in a while." He goes, "But I don't ever." And then again, going back and forth, and uh, when everybody starts hearing this one now, you know what's going to happen. Oh, I'm sure somebody's got a nice blog they'll be throwing up about me tomorrow. Let them knock their socks off. Because you know what? So what? Again,
Oh,
Nesper was Ed and Lorraine Warren. That was Nesper.
Yep.
That's how I will always remember it.
right.
So,
Yeah. So I agree with you. It's a shame that it got into the wrong hands of people that really don't care about the paranormal. In my opinion, from what
uh,
I've seen, this is my opinion. It's not John's. It's not Stevie's. It's Taryn's opinion. I just want to go on record saying that.
I
Unfortunately,
second it.
yeah, I really honestly think it got in, unfortunately, the wrong hands. And it's a shame as to uh, what they've done with it. It really is disheartening to see that happening. Um, somebody, Stevie, there's like a four other questions here, but I want you to be able to ask whatever you want. You know
No,
what?
no, let's go for the questions. I want the audience to have a chance too.
Okay.
you doing okay, kiddo?
Yeah, I'm doing great. This
Okay.
is so good.
Okay.
Um, okay, so Scarborough is asking, this is, I don't know anything about this, but does John remember a story around the Frank Frazetta horse and rider print on the wall of the museum? I'm just curious about this, that's all.
I have no clue.
Okay.
Who came up with the story?
I
Mm.
think that might have been on one of the videos where Elton was showing the house, maybe.
Oh,
I
Because there's a lot
remember.
of art in the house.
Oh, wait a minute. Are you talking? I wonder if he's referring to. Are you? There was a horseshoe that was in the back that had something to do with a case they worked on. The horse had passed away, and the people felt that the spirit of the horse was causing problems, and horseshoes were showing up.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know how true the story is. You just triggered my mind by bringing that up. So I don't know if you're talking about a horseshoe a physical horseshoe. Because I remember he had a physical horseshoe, and I remember him telling that story. But actually, I haven't heard that story in years and years and years. But
huh.
I'm not
Um,
sure. I think there was a painting when Elton was doing a tour of the home, the house after they bought it and showing the rooms and all this stuff. I think there was a painting on the wall that he is referring to, but I'm not 100% sure.
okay, it could be. It could be. I mean, it uh, I guess might as well just talk about a few of these things because it gets over. When I was watching Elton clean out my uncle's little office that was off the Halloween room. And there's a big cassette rack that I built for him. I mean, the freaking thing was a monster. It was like 4 foot by 4 foot. And he had a bunch of tapes, not marked. He was terrible. So Lorraine and I were throwing them all in boxes. I snuck them out, threw them in the car. I listened to them. I labeled all of them, and I built that big case that's down in that room now. It's a piece of paneling and wood on it. I don't know if I ever wrote anything on the back of it or not, but every time I see the video that when Elton puts it up, I guess they use it as a closet now. I look at that and I just go, oh. You can see little stickers where he marked everything where the tapes were at one point in time. But anyways, I built that for him. I'm glad he kept it.
That's so cool.
well, and Terry brings up a good point. Well, then why doesn't Elton want to get in touch with the original investigators? They know the real stories.
Yep.
Okay, Terry, you might be absolutely right, but we don't know that.
Yeah.
We don't know who Elton's talking to and not talking to. We have no clue because he doesn't strike me again as being a type of person that would be receiving a bunch of messages and different things and taking the step back and going, all right, something's not lining up here right in comparison to their stories, in comparison to what a lot of other people tells me. So who knows? Is he checking into anything? I don't know.
Yeah.
He could be.
The fact that okay, so that question really triggers me a little bit because he specifically said on that first live that they tracked down all the people that were part of these cases. He said they tracked down camera crews, they tracked down people who carried equipment, they tracked down investigators, they tracked down psychics. They he specifically said we tracked down all these people and we are going to speak to them, but we've heard nothing since.
Okay, all right. I, I think you and I interpret that a little bit differently.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I remember thinking I heard him say in that video was we're going to start working on trying to track down all the items, the people that had worked with them, a lot of the different tapes and things like that. And I'll tell you, Stevie, I sat here and said, "Yeah, good luck with that, pal," to myself.
Yeah.
Now, whether he's ever done that or not, I'm not aware of it.
Well,
Yeah.
obviously he hasn't reached out to you.
Yeah.
No, no, I've
Yeah, and
never.
I
Well,
can't
I mean,
remember if he said he did. I don't know if he ever said he found them for sure, but I know he did say he was going to. He was going to look, but I
Right,
feel like I
right.
heard him say he found some people because he did say he found a bunch of
Oh, you're
records.
right. You're right. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, you're right on that part. He did say that there were several friends and researchers that already had reached out to him. You're right about that. Then I remember him saying he was going to start digging in and da 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 da. So
Hmm.
I I don't know how far they ever got
Yeah.
with it or if they've done anything or you
Yeah,
know.
and I think Terry made this point to me as well. There was a flood that damaged a lot of stuff,
Yes.
and Elton kind of disregarded that and said that they had all this stuff that apparently was damaged. So,
Yeah. Well, he had shown pictures and or some video also too of the whole lower level because I had seen some other pictures from other people, and I mean everything was trashed. The Halloween room, nothing was touched. Ed's office, Lorraine's office, everything was just like totally trashed down there. So again, I don't understand that. I mean that I again none of that made any sense to me. You had all these Nesper members that were there. Why weren't they helping during that point in time to sort things if a pipe allegedly broke in the wall and move
yeah.
some of that stuff? I don't know. I I can't really answer something to that degree on why, but I do remember she got hysterical at one point in time, meaning Lorraine, because there was another time a pipe had broken and a whole bunch of stuff had gotten wet. Now, I don't know if that's the same damage from the same scenario or a different one because she was calling up some of the old researchers to go up and help her, but they were afraid to go there because of you know who. So they called me and they're going, what should we do? I go, that's up to you. You do what you want to do. I said,
Yeah.
but the poor woman's reaching out to people and they're afraid to go. I mean, again, I that's the best I can answer some of that
That
for
says a
you.
lot.
yeah, Dust is saying they let certain people live in the house and they trashed it.
Yeah, they did.
Big time, big
Yeah,
time.
after
I
Lorraine
mean,
passed. Yeah, after Lorraine passed.
again, after Judy moved out, there was a young gentleman that had moved in there. He stayed there for a little while. Then after he moved out, the priest had moved in there. Again, um, then I don't know that if anybody else after.
I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
it
yeah.
was
I think a couple of the people that were living there were staying up there at one point in time. Then after that, it had been where I think they put Chris in there. Chris was living in there for a while, and then after he was gone, then I think Wade Kirby moved in there.
Yes. Yes.
So there has been several different people because there was a posting put up recently that nobody lived in there since 2019, and that's not a truth. And I don't understand why you would say something like that when we all know the people that live there.
Yeah, there's
I,
evidence out there on the internet of who lived there and when.
yeah, I mean, so again, I didn't understand that, you know, saying no one lived there or anything, and
and then there was
no,
rumors that Dan was living there.
Yes.
well,
Dan confessed
uh,
himself in one of their podcast lives.
That Dan, that Dan was living there.
Yeah.
well, I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. Again, you hear a lot of different stories, you hear a lot of different things, and um, he was up there quite a bit. I know that. I could, basically say that. So again, I'm not 100% sure about it, but from different things I've seen, different postings, and what different people have mentioned over the course of time, he has spent quite a bit of time up there.
Um,
I'm trying to be nice.
I know. And I love you for that. Like I said, if you are uncomfortable answering anything, you have the free right to say, I plead the fifth, and that is fine with me. Um,
Again, it's a weird circumstances the way that kid died. I'm sorry. It's just weird. That whole scenario is weird.
yeah,
I don't wish anything like that on anybody. And again, I feel bad for Sarah's wife and the little one, Michael. Again, that's a rough thing and just awful freaky. Here he's out on tour with the freaking thing, and the kid dies.
yeah,
I mean, it's weird.
yeah.
It's weird circumstances, and prior to that, buildings are burning down, floods. I don't know. The wrath of Annabelle hit everywhere. Not that
Um,
I'm not laughing at the kid's death.
no,
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 I know.
no,
Yeah, no,
no.
I know.
no. It's
I
been
feel
very
very bad
comical
over
up
that.
until that point.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and on Dan's behalf, I will say this: he's reached out to me several times. Wishing that we could all sit down and talk. And I'll tell anybody this. My reply to anybody that does that: you got a better chance of fucking hell freezing over because I'm not doing it. So,
yeah. Well, there you go.
so
Kiwi's asking, were extended family members offered anything from the house before it was sold?
I can't answer that. I don't
So you
know.
were not. So you were
I
not,
wasn't. No,
right.
no.
Yeah, Chris says he wasn't either, of course.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, yeah.
that's understandable. Um, Again, ag- you try to look at the big picture, and um, oh, wait a minute. I'm going to retract that. I'm going to retract part of that. I do know. I was told by a couple of different people that Heather did get a lot of her grandmother's things that she did want, her granddaughter, and Lorraine's sister Doris had wanted or had gotten several different things that she had wanted. So, I mean, I retract that. I do know a few of the family members that did get things.
Oh, that's nice.
So, that's what I know of.
Do
That
you happen to know if that was recently or more close to when Lorraine passed?
I think both, Stevie. I
Okay.
think both. If I remember hearing correctly, it was both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Both situations.
Yeah, so
That's good then.
Scarborough is saying, I think this he must do a lot of lives. I don't follow Elton, so I don't know. So I think it's pretty cringe that he does this on lives. But it says it does seem weird how Elton was like, "Look, Lorraine's wedding dress. Shouldn't that have gone to the family?"
Yeah, there was a lot in the house that Elton had access to and was technically purchased because he purchased the house and its contents. So
Yeah, yeah,
I don't understand a lot of that stuff. It doesn't make sense to me. You know, with certain items and certain things. I mean, there's something. Oh, here again, I'm going to let this out. Nobody knows this. We had a famous actress in the family on vaudeville, and her name was Babe. My mom was named after her. She was Babette Dennis. Anyway, she was in vaudeville and everything, and she had a big estate on Long Island. And a lot of the family members, when she passed away, were able to get things. Well, my mom had 4 or 5 statues. My grandmother had several different things. And Lorraine had like 5 statues from her. And I remember the whole scenario. Years went by, and I had said something to Lorraine. Everybody was already just about passed away. Ed was still alive. I said, Lorraine, I said, do me a favor. I said, Aunt Babe statues. And she looked at me. She went, yes. I said, I know you have a few. How do you know I have them? I said, I remember mom and grandma talking about it, who had some of these statues. I said, do me a favor. I said, make sure they just don't, ever get sold off or anything, or they just don't end up with, somebody else or anything. I said, I would like to have them, you know. She never said anything, never remarked about it, nothing ever again. So I don't know whatever happened to the statues. I don't even know if Judy or Heather would have even known anything about the statues. Because Lorraine was great for not telling people stuff. Seriously.
Yeah.
She would just not tell people stuff. She was
Well,
like that.
I mean, but there's a lot, like, even, like back in the day, people wouldn't talk. I mean, even when they were like ill, like they wouldn't want other family members to know that they were ill. Like, I mean, that was just the thing, really.
That's the way, that's how they
Yeah.
were. I was used to it because my mom was like that. And, Ed, when I used to try to ask him things about the family or anything, he would leave it alone. The past, leave it alone. And
Mhm.
my mom would do the same thing. She would go, leave it alone. Just leave it alone. It doesn't matter anymore. But old people did that. They would always say that. Just leave everything alone.
Yeah, I
So,
did. Yeah. Um, Florio says that she wants to ask. Hi, Florio. Was
hi.
your dad or grandfather a priest or a paranormal investigator? We heard that in the grapevine.
What was that again?
If your dad or grandfather was a priest or a paranormal investigator.
Oh, okay. You're talking about a couple of stories here. No, we had a priest or a bishop. I'm sorry. We had a bishop in the family that I found out years later did exorcisms. No one ever talks about it. My uncle never even talked about it. And we had a couple of nuns, legit, nuns in the family. My grandfather, from what I know, he died when I was 4. But he was very, very wrapped up into the church. You know how the old timers were? They went to
Yeah,
church every freaking morning and pray, pray, pray.
yeah.
And they did he did all that and belonged to all the committees. Then one of my other cousins said, well, Johnny, Uncle Frankie, which was my grandfather, he used to be involved with the prayer services when they used to do the exorcisms. I went, what? I never heard this. So, and I'm like, my uncle never mentioned it. My mother never mentioned it. My Uncle Frankie never mentioned it. I never heard anybody ever mention it. So then I talked to one of my other cousins. This is going back a few years. And they were my grandfather's sister's nieces. Anyways, I was good friends with them. So I called them up and I'm talking to them. I said, was my grandfather ever involved with all that? And they're going, Johnny, how could you not know that? I go, nobody ever talked about it. It was my cousin Helen and my cousin Hattie. I asked them, and they told me, they go, yeah. And that's why he never wanted Warren getting involved with any of that stuff.
Wow.
Now, allegedly, I don't know how true this is. Allegedly, at one point in time, Ed had talked about being a priest. Ed, a priest? I don't think so. But I don't know how true that one was. One of my cousins had mentioned that to me, and I go, I can't even picture him. No, no way, Jose. But
Amazing.
again, who knows? So, but yeah, that as far as the religious parts of it, again, that's where a lot of that came from.
Interesting. And I feel like me and you, when I had you on my show, at the first time I had you on my show, I think I had asked you about your mom and dad, like, and how they felt about what you did, in the paranormal field. And I believe you just said that they supported it, but you were more, under your aunt and uncle's wing when it came to that kind of stuff. You kind of were like,
Yeah, my father did not believe in anything. He nothing. He thought we were all crazy. Anyhow, but he was always interested in hearing us talk about it. My mother was petrified of this stuff. She did not. She didn't want me getting involved with it at all or anything. And then finally, at one point in time, she says, "Well, if you're going to be doing this stuff, I'd rather you're with my brother."
right.
So she goes, "At least I know." If anything, and he used to say all the time, he goes, anything freaking happens to you, I don't want to have to freaking deal with her. He used to say that all the time. So it was like a double-edged sword because it was you could not talk to her about the paranormal. She would start crying. Because I said, Ma, I want to know your version on what happened. I don't want to talk about it, Johnny. I don't want to talk about it. And then when I would push it, she would start crying. And then
Wow.
Ed would yell at me, leave her alone. Don't be bothering her. She don't want to talk about that shit. Yeah?
Wow.
Yes. Don't bother her. And I'd be like, well, I told you what went on. That's all you need to know.
Wow.
Yeah? Because they were, they were weird. They would talk to each other when nobody else was around.
Yeah. They
And
were
they would have,
twins.
yeah, they would talk, and when something was wrong with one another, they always knew it. My mother would say, check on him, check on him, check on him. So, um, here's a very unique thing. Most people don't know this one either. She had a nickname for him. She used to call him Waji. Oh my God, he couldn't stand it. And but then when she got real sick towards the end and anything, and she wasn't remembering things, she reached out, Waji, and he went right over and grabbed her. And
Aw.
he looked right at me. He goes, "Don't you ever fucking talk about that." I said, "Oh, what, the sensitive side of you? I don't be doing that." And Lorraine went, "Oh, I wish he'd hug me."
I love it.
But yeah, no, that's and no, yeah, she would never, ever say it in front of anybody. Then I heard a couple of my cousins say it, and I asked one of my cousins, "Well, where'd that come from?" Because she couldn't say Warren. It came out Waji,
Oh, wow.
and it stuck all those years.
That's
Aw.
sweet.
But I never heard her say it, any other time until right towards the end, and him and Lorraine would show up, and she'd go Waji, and he would go over and grab her.
Aw.
Yeah,
Don't you have a story about their twin connection? I feel like I read a post you put up once. Would you
yeah.
mind sharing that?
Okay. Yeah, no, I don't mind sharing it at all. Yeah, as you could tell with my humor, even though my mom was very ill or anything, I still picked on her and teased her because she would tell me my grandmother, everybody was there, and I go, "Well, what are they telling you? Tell me what they're not saying anything. They're quiet and everything like that." I said, "Well, I need to know what's going on over there." And she'd get this look on her face like that, and then I would drop it. And it was one day we were down there, and she was talking to somebody, and she was talking in Polish or Slovak or something. And I go, who are you talking to? She goes, Jesus Christ, don't you see them? They're all over there. I go, is Jesus Christ with them? So then I said, you got to let me know. I said, make sure you come back. I said, after you pass away and you're with grandma and everybody, I hope you all get drunk and have a good time. She pointed right at me and she says, I'll tell you what, I'm going to go back and tell my brother how it's like over there. I go, thanks. So my wife and I are taking care of you, and you're going to tell your brother. I never mentioned it, never brought it up. Several weeks later, I, I, I don't know. This is for you or your father. She's Christ coming to me in my dream. There's flowers and everything else. She's near the waterfall, and everything looks beautiful and everything like that, and everything's okay. And I said to him, I go, what colors really stood out to you? And he goes, mainly, the pinks and the blues and everything like that. And I started crying. He goes, what's the matter with you? What's the matter? And I said, I never told you, so I told him the story and everything. And he goes, I guess that's confirmation then. And I guess it is. I said, to tell me that everything was all right, but my dad was still alive, so he didn't know if it was for me or my dad, because we're both Johns. And then after that, she would come to him in dreams and everything. They would say to me, Jesus Christ, she won't leave me alone. She keeps coming to me in my dreams. I don't want to hear all this bullshit no more.
Oh my God, that's great. I love it.
So yeah, that was a very, very true story. Again, it affected him at that moment.
Yeah.
And I watched his face, and I watched him tear up a little bit when we talked about it, and I explained it all to him, and then he changed the whole thing after that. Went right back to being Ed.
Yeah.
Aw.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we've been on for like, I can't believe how long we've been on, but it's
I know,
fine.
it's been
It's
great.
Wow. Yeah.
okay. It's okay.
Yeah, but it's okay. It's okay with me. It's okay with you guys. I think it's helping to clear things up too with
Yeah.
some of
For
the,
sure.
people get a little bit of a better perspective of some of it.
Yeah, for
Yes.
sure. I mean, I absolutely, I mean, I'm grateful that you, I mean, and again, this was your idea, and as soon as John said that to me, I was like, you hold on one
Yes.
second. I am
Yes.
messaging Stevie right now
And
because
she did. And
I
she
think it's
did.
important. I think this is important
I
for the
agree.
field, important for the stories, important for the people that believe or don't believe, and for like you said, getting the truth out there, fixing what's wrong, or righting what's wrong. You know what I mean? And if there's something that was wrong, you right it. Did I say that twice,
Yes.
but different ways? I don't.
See that? Yeah, but that's what sticks with me the most was the scenarios when the shit would hit the fan. Basically, and an article would come out, or this would come out, or this would come on TV, and I would look at the both of them, and Ed would always say, "How the f do we fix this now?"
Wow.
And I would be like, "Just tell them." He goes, "You don't understand."
Yeah.
And I would look at him, and Lorraine would just go, "Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, we're fucked. Oh dear, oh dear."
I mean, that
Oh,
just makes so much sense. That really does.
Yeah, and I would watch it, and I would see them when they would lecture or something, and I would see their faces, and then they would both look at each other, and they would just go forth with trying to cover up what just happened so that it didn't make it worse.
mhm.
And in my mind, I was like, if you just tell the truth,
Hmm.
but now I understand it because he knew damn well they were going to take it and distort it even worse.
And you know what?
So
That still happens today. I mean,
it's worse today.
yeah, it's so bad today. I mean, because now you have the technology to
Yes.
fake things and make things up, and you
Yeah.
have the technology now it's not just word of mouth, and there's nowhere to research it. Now
Yeah.
it's they have these things where they can make things up,
Hmm.
and,
Oh,
and
it's brutal. Then when we started getting emails, you'll love this because I used to do all the emails, and when they first came out with that, I used to go up their house with a freaking pile like this. It was unbelievable. Anyhow,
and the
then
emails were what, private
we
cases.
huh?
The emails were private cases, like
Oh, private cases, fans, typical email stuff and everything, and people ripping them apart, shredding them, you name it. I mean, it was brutal. And I would bring some of those up and let her read some of them. You're a fake, you're a fraud, you're this, you're that, and all this crazy stuff and everything. She would sit there and read it, and I go, "Well, what do you think?" "Interesting, dear."
Mhm.
And I'd go, "Okay," and I'd look at Ed, and Ed would bust out laughing, right? So then I go, "Well, I got to respond to some." This is what she would do to me. "We take the higher road, and we don't respond, dear."
Wow.
And I'd be like, "But that's even stupid." But now I understand it. They would have taken it and tore it apart and reinterpreted it into something else that led down to another rabbit hole, so to speak.
Yeah,
And like I said, don't get me wrong, they weren't freaking angels. I'm never going to say they were. Again, it's crazy, but it
yeah,
is
Two
what it
sides to
is,
every coin.
right,
huh?
There's two sides to every coin.
Yeah, I mean, again, I would see the other side 90% of the time. So
right.
again, when a lot of the shit that hits the fan, it comes out, I have to take the step back and go, wait a minute, what year did that happen? Wait a minute, they weren't there. What are you talking about? And I just sit back and go, okay, well,
And then
and
and then like everybody in the comments is saying, "We need a part 2." Yes, we need a part 2. We need a part 2.
I love
We're like, "We need a
it.
part 2." Like, when John decides that he wants to talk more and give more information,
holy shit, it took me 53 years to say all this.
I love it though. It's great.
But no, I mean, again, um, I understand. I understand a lot of things. That's like people don't quite understand it with the people in the paranormal. You seen it because you were at the event. I'm good friends with a lot of these guys. Jason and I go back before he even had freaking kids. Grant, I know. Steve, I've known since he was a freaking kid. I mean, Zach, I know him. Again, uh, on the TV show, he goes under possession like he changes his freaking underwear every day. But the kid isn't really anything like that behind the scenes.
It's a
I've been
show.
around him several times and he's nothing like that. But again, I know all these people on a different level from the TV land than, you know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
people will run up to me, "Oh, what were you and Jason talking about?" And I'll go, "Well, what do you mean?" They go, what cases? Who? What? I go, "Nothing. We were talking about the kids and freaking houses and bills and
Right.
taxes and stuff like that." I said, "We weren't talking anything about paranormal."
Right.
Amazes me. Amazes me.
Great.
I just want to bring do Steeny. I hope I'm saying that right. They say, don't mind me or any of my dumb questions. I'm new here and totally lost. Feel free to inform me. I feel like
Don't feel bad, kiddo. So are all we.
yeah, if I missed a question, I really apologize. I was really trying to keep up with the questions for everybody. So, I'm sorry if I missed some in there.
That was
Um,
Destin. He's eager to learn.
okay. And he's saying this is one hell of a show for sure. So that's awesome. Thank you so much. Um, but I um I love you both dearly, and like again, I mean I don't have anywhere to go. So I mean we can keep talking, but Stevie, I don't know if you have any other questions for John. I mean
Yeah.
you know
Anything else you could think of?
Not at the moment, but I would love a part two, honestly.
You
yeah
got it. You got it.
yeah yeah. I
Because
mean
I've got so much more research to do, and I know I will have more questions.
yeah
Which is not. Which is absolutely no problem whatsoever.
Yay!
No problem. Again, I, to me, I could tell you my truths. I could tell you what I know, what I lived, what I witnessed being around them. Um, again, which is quite a bit, and not too many people could go drop off pierogies at their aunt and uncle's house and end up at a freaking exorcism. Who does that?
Exactly. Exactly.
There's not many people I know that ever went through that type of stuff. So, again, it's always interesting, always intriguing with a lot of it.
and I appreciate you, John, because I know it takes a lot for something because honestly they are controversial. They are huge.
Oh hell yeah!
You know what I mean? There's so much, and especially now more than ever. I mean, and unfortunately, the wrong people are doing the wrong things, and they're and bringing the wrong stuff out. So it takes a lot for you to come out and speak. Because also we don't think about the other family members that aren't a part of the paranormal field and aren't a part of all this, and they're still seeing all this stuff about their family members. You know what I mean? Meaning Ed and Lorraine, and you know what I mean, and all this stuff being put out there about them, and you know, we don't stop and think about them as well. You know what I mean? And I think that from hearing from you, you kind of have to remember that it's not just about Ed and Lorraine. You know what I mean? It's about the rest of the family as well. It's not just about you know John, although I love you, John, you know what I mean? But it's not just about you. There's other family members that are in the
Oh,
background.
tons. I mean, again, I always tried to keep an even keel when it came to so much, because of the fact both of them had asked me, not to do, please don't say things or,
Yeah.
don't bring things out. And again, I have to sit here and I watch it and things like that and I cringe. But, like I said, what I used to crack up and laugh about, and my wife even used to laugh about it, because at the end of a conversation with Lorraine, I would go, "Yes, dear, we did not talk. I'll remember it." And she would go, "Okay, love." Just, reaffirming, because she didn't want to have to deal with shit. I don't
Yeah.
blame her. I don't blame the poor woman. She had enough going on. And she just didn't want anybody, that was in that little whatever it was there that got developed after it went down, to have to deal with that and make it rougher on her. So, I mean, it's a double whammy. I got to deal with family, deal with paranormal,
Yeah.
and it's a double whammy. And I just try to look at all of the different things that I possibly can,
Yeah.
just to have a good uh, view of what to think of. And um, one other thing I'll just share before um, we go, because I think it's an important element. Um, the day of Lorraine's funeral, um, Terry and Frank and I went to the church service, the actual funeral that day. And if it wasn't for them, I I still don't know. I I still don't know how I would look at that if it wasn't for them. Because on the flip end of that, I have to say, my oldest sister, Julie, kept calling and yelling at me and telling me to go, telling me to go. And again, we're brother sister. We argue and fight. That's our lives. We're like that. All brothers and sisters argue and fight. But anyhow, so when they talked to me, I said, okay, you know, we'll meet up there, and we did. We sat in the back of the church, and there were two other people that were sitting in the back there, and I think I arg- I argued with my wife before I left the house that morning because she was petrified I was going to end up in jail, that I would end up in an argument with we know who, because it would have only taken one thing to get me going, and I probably would. And funerals and wakes aren't a place to argue and fight. But anyhow, um, we were all dispersing, and we were leaving. And I think the one thing that affected me more than anything um, was as everybody left, we were at the back and we had walked out. And I had said to Terry and Frank, I said, let's go to the cemetery. This was before we had walked out. And Terry got too upset by the time we got out. I understood. And I felt at that point in time that, I said to him, no, I said, I agree, you should go. And no, I shouldn't go to the cemetery. So they had left and they had gone. And I had gotten into my car, and I just sat there in that parking lot and cried for an hour.
Yeah.
And it was over the fact of just watching and experiencing what the three of us did that day, because we cared about them. Yes, Tara, I know. And the three of us, were back there and watching everybody walk out, and not one person looking at us. Not one person would dignify the fact that we were there in the church.
Wow.
Not that I was expecting anybody to walk up and give me a hug. The only one that did was my sister. She come running in the back in the church there and out in the parking lot. And the only other person that acknowledged me was Joe Frankie, one of the another researcher from many years ago. He jumped out of the hearse. Big, big, big guy walked up, picked me up. He goes, "I love you, Johnny," and I go, "I love you, Frank," and we departed. It's the only. Uh, I'm basically sharing that because I know there's three of us that hurt over that. That's Terry, Frank, and I,
Right.
over that day and that the way it went. But I'm still glad I did it, and I'm still glad I went. And I know Terry and Frank are very glad that they had gone also too, on
Yeah.
that day. So um,
And
I
I,
don't know. I felt that story would help the three of us out. I think a little bit. I don't know. I
Yeah.
could be wrong on that, but
No,
no,
big
um,
shout out to Terry and Frank too. I love them so much.
we go back. so many of the old researchers, we go back so many years, and again, we all stay in contact, and to me, that's the most important thing, because we were around in the old days when everything was cool and all out running around doing stuff and hanging around. So again, I don't know why I felt it was important to share that story, but I felt it was important to share it.
I think
So,
it's very important. I mean, it just goes to show you, like, in my opinion, the character and of the people that chose to not acknowledge you,
Yes.
and where they come from. And it doesn't come from family, it doesn't come from love, it doesn't come from a place where, like you said, funerals and wakes and stuff like that, you got to sometimes put that stuff aside. And apparently, the greed and the money and whatever agendas or whatever, they had going on in their own heads, prevailed that day. You know what I mean? And they decided to ostracize you from that. And I'm so happy that you went. You deserve to be there just as much as anybody else deserved to be there, you
Yeah.
know? So maybe even more so than some of the people that didn't even talk to you. So
yeah, it was again. I look I look upon some of the things and try to understand them. And again, I'm not innocent in everything. I got a mouth on me. I'm mouthy, and I push back. So again, you're welcome, Terry. I love you guys. Um, again, I've often been told this, and Lorraine would even say it. You are so much like him. It's not even funny. With the attitude, with the getting mad, or making you know uh, decisions on things and everything like that. And again, Judy Penny's even told me that. She says you remind me so much of him. She says when you get mad or when you start, she goes, your mother effing everything up and down, and you're not talking to this one, you're not talking to that one, blah 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 blah. And I just, again, I'm going to say this part of it too, that when I had talked to Judy Penny at that point, and I called her afterwards, I said I went to the church service, and she says, "Well, Johnny, I'm glad you did." She says, even me, she says, if I was up there, she says, I still would have went. I said, I know, you guys would have went, but again, she was even cheering, not cheering me on, but telling me, she goes, Johnny, do the right thing and go. She said, you
yeah,
should go. Never
yeah,
mind anything else. And
right.
again, you know, kudos to the few people in the background there that were there to support that part of it. So,
Um, I have a quick question though, because Dust brought up something that I haven't heard. Um, I don't. I'm not. I don't follow I don't follow Chip Coffee, so I don't know about this, but he says, "What do you think about Chip Coffee?" Apparently, Lorraine recently tried calling his phone.
Yep.
Dust, will you leave Chippy alone, please? Okay, Chip, Chip Coffee and I go back from ground zero too. All right, Uh, he's controversial. Everybody's got all their, just like Ed and Lorraine and everybody else and
Right.
all of them. He said that he was going back and forth, and it was around the time framing he called me, and he goes, John, she's reaching out to me. She goes, what is going on? What is going on? And this was just before everything hit with the house and everything. So I go, well, because I call him Chippy. He doesn't like it. He won't let anybody else call him that. He gets mad. Anyhow, and I said, I don't know. And boom, everything hit. And then it was around the same time frame. He called me and he had said to me, he said her number came up on the phone. Now, I'm not going to disbelieve him. I mean, I don't know why he would make something like that up. I don't know. I'm
Mhm.
not Chip, but he doesn't usually do things like that. And usually when Chip tells me something, especially when it ties in with Lorraine or anything like that, and he starts crying when he's telling me the story, I know I could basically take that to the bank.
Mhm.
He's got nothing to prove to me. Him and I are friends. We've always been friends. We always will be friends.
Mhm.
So, again, I don't know. if she was calling him. Would it
I mean, it's
surprise
hard
me?
for it. I mean, it's hard for like for any of us, for even you included. You know what I mean? To sit here and say if something happened or didn't happen. I mean, because we weren't there. Nobody
Yeah,
was there. And maybe who knows? I mean, I I'm sorry, but I don't believe it. Sorry, but
but that's okay.
but
That's
yeah,
okay. Yeah,
I'm just being honest. You know what I mean? Like I
yeah.
mean, I think maybe he believes that maybe he might have been getting um maybe contacted by Lorraine somehow, but and maybe he just used that as an easy way to explain it to you. I have no idea. I don't know Chip. You know what I mean? So I can't really say either, way why something came across that way, but um but I thought it was somebody else that he said that about. I didn't know it was Lorraine. I thought it was
Yeah, he
somebody.
posted his
No, there's some right, Stevie. There's something about he put. I think didn't he put a posting or something up about
yeah,
it
he
too?
made a
Yeah,
post. He took a picture of the caller ID.
that's it. That's what it was. But I had talked to him before he even had done it. So again, and then there was a couple of other situations just before stuff went public. I mean, whether he had inside information, I don't know. I mean, again, anything is possible, but um, usually when Chip tells me something, I usually could say to myself, "Okay, I know." You know, what's he saying? I can't leave anymore. I
Yes, just wants
Yeah,
to talk to
I
someone.
know you're there to cause problems, dude. I know, I know, I know. But again, with that, I mean, whether it happened or not, I don't know. I didn't see it. I got to go by what he tells me.
Right. Sure.
So
That's fair.
yeah.
Yeah. And that's fair. And Eric says, John is really painting a picture with these stories. I love this stream. Thanks. Thank you, Eric.
Yay. Love
Well,
it.
like I say, you know just try to get stuff out into the fore. Eric will tell you. I never met him. I knew him. We had a lot of mutual friends and everything. And he came to an investigation upstate New York with our buddy Tim and everything like that. And I'm talking to him, and I looked right at him. I go, "Will you stop posting so much bullshit?" I looked right at him. He looked right at me, and I'm like, "Dude." And I laugh because some of the stuff he puts up and everything, I almost bust a gut laughing. I
Mhm.
mean, he just like, wow.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah. Yeah, I love Eric. I tried to get Eric to come on, but he says that he's not a fan of doing live shows. So maybe I don't know how to record to put on, so maybe I can figure that out so I could have Eric on. But I
I'll
also
help you
don't know
too.
how to I also don't know how to edit either, Eric. So even if we recorded, I don't know how to edit it or anything like that. So it would be whatever it is. So, you know,
I'll help you.
yes. Um, but um I'm gonna let you guys go because we've been on for a really long time, and
It was great.
I appreciate you both. And John, thank you so much for sharing all these stories.
Oh no, you're very welcome. Again, I'm just happy to do it. It was
We'll do
pretty
it
cool.
again.
I was with this weekend. It was good to hang out with this one for a little while.
Yeah,
It was so great. I loved it so much.
yeah,
All
I
right,
definitely want to
guys.
do it again.
Okay,
we'll do it
you
again.
definitely got it, and hopefully some of the information helps people out a little to
Yes.
understand two of the wickedest people in the world.
I loved it. It was so
All
good. It was so well rounded.
Yeah,
right, guys. Take
absolutely.
care.
You
Night.
too.
Bye
Good
bye.
night,
Bye.
John. Let me see. That was great. Thank you, Stevie.
That was amazing. Thank you.
I hope you got to ask him everything that
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I know I was trying to keep up with the chat too. Sorry, chat, if I didn't get to your question, but I was really, really trying. But it
We'll
was
do a part two. And if anyone has
yeah.
questions, just send them to you or me and we'll get them in next time.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And I appreciate everybody sticking around. I mean, I mean, we've had a steady stream of at least 50 to 60 people that have been on and
That's
stuck
awesome.
around for the whole show. So thank you so much, you guys, for even if it was just this one time, I really appreciate it because I do my show for my guests, not for me. So I appreciate everybody being here. And, please like and share for John and for Stevie. And I just want to say thanks, Stevie. I love you. And it was
I
good
love you
seeing you.
too. Thank you so much for having me. That was so much fun.
Yes. And it's so good seeing your face. And I will talk to you in chat.
Sounds good.
All right. Until next time, everyone, sweet dreams.
Bye.
Bye.